morning, fishy friends. Welcome to your morning's entertainment. Grab your croissants, pancakes, or Vegemite on toast and wake up to today's host, that buttery smooth groovy cat, Mr. Salem.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this morning's entertainment. We're only a few hours late, roughly, give or take a few itself. Congratulations, Colourfully Woolly, on coming first, and Lena on coming second. The in and the out. I don't even. I'm already out of breath. Whew. Right. What am I meant to say? We're back once again. We are going to be continuing with the Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. My throat and voice is not too bad. There was a lot of reading. There was a lot of talking. It's a visual novel that's not voiced. And you've got to do voices, of course, but I don't. There's no big difference between them, between all of the voices that I do. But still, whew. It's not super cold outside, but it's a little tiny chilly. So anyway, right? Yes, no. And the recap from last time, from roaring guitars to vampire bites, oh my. Last stream, brutal legend rocked, that's not right, with Colourfully Woolly's death counts and Luxon's shower singing symphony of 44 gifted subs. That's right. Gracie's cat sprinkled bits like magic fairy dust, while Pongy's keyboard bravely battled the forces of glitch. Teddy found solace in the stream's warmth. Embrace, warm embrace. I feel like it says that every single time about Teddy. A heartwarming sight indeed. Now, Salem sinks their fangs into the Big Apple's mysteries in Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. Unboxing thrills and chills await. Will Salem's fangs sink into the Big Apple's mysteries, or will the city's secrets drain them dry? Oh, the places you'll go. It's meant to be Dr. Seuss-like, and so it throws in some of the things, but sometimes, like the "oh, the places you'll go," but it doesn't really have, like, rhymingness sometimes. But yes. Hello and good morning. Starting way too early for me at 4 a.m. Yes. I mean, I would have liked to have started about 4 hours ago. My watch didn't come on. It didn't come on again. It's not coming on. I'm going to flip and press it. About 4 hours ago. But that didn't end up happening. But I'm fresh out the shower, so I'm all... Well, you can't really see them. They're not springy. My hair gets very springy as it dries. But yes. And hey, good morning and good afternoon. Good afternoon, Lena. It's afternoon. It's 2 p.m. It's 2 p.m., right? Is it 2 p.m.? Did I get that right? Because I'm still... I feel like I was getting pretty close, and then we had our time change, and now a lot of other countries are going to start having their... Yes! Fantastic. Okay. Wonderful. But yeah, a bunch of other countries are soon going to be having their time changes, so... But I got it right, so it doesn't matter. It's all good. Hi, Salem. Hi, Lux. Good afternoon, Kuro. How are you this afternoon? I hope that you're well and wonderful. I hope that you are having a wonderful afternoon. Also, Lena and Dimitri, I hope that you're having a good, very early morning. I don't know why you're up so early / late. I mean, I do, because you've been playing flipping New World all night and morning. Jeez. But yes, we're back, and we're gonna be doing the vampire thingy. Now upkeep thingies. Boo boo bapa doo. We haven't had summertime change for a couple of years. So you stopped doing it, or you're like, we're gonna go on a break, or summer hasn't come here very well, so we're gonna wait till it comes back. But okay, so you only changed it a couple of years ago. That's interesting. Yeah, time for bed. Yes. Darlings, as the moon wanes, our coven grows stronger. Follow Salem into the shadows, where subscriptions are the sweetest nectar. Like Luxon's early rise or Lena's distant sun, your devotion spans time and space. The wheel of fate spins. Will you be the chosen one to nourish our dear host? Your subscription is the lifeblood that keeps this sanctuary alive. Come, embrace eternity with us. Pff, early rise. At some point we had, but for some reason, I don't remember, we stopped doing it. Oh, okay, that's interesting. I know like a lot of places and a lot of people don't like daylight savings, and they try the petition to get it to stop and everything like that. I'm all for it because the way in which when the sun comes up and goes down changes. So shifting the times to somewhat try and match with it, it makes sense to me. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm a New South Welshman, so I'm not from Queensland. I'm not a heathen. Queensland doesn't do it. Queensland doesn't do daylight savings. So for like half the year, we match the time with them, and then for the other half of the year we don't. And it gets confusing. That's what confuses me, is when they don't change. But yeah. But speaking of the emoticons and everything and all of that, yes, we had a hype train yesterday, and we reached the big goal that we had, and then we actually would have reached the next big goal after it. So we've unlocked the last two remaining animated emoticons, and they are live and in action. And also, for any perhaps keen-eyed people, we have some of the new replacement normal emoticons, cat emoticons. Some of them got done yesterday, actually. So yes, they are in action and there and going. So there's that. And I think that's it. There's not a lot of updates. But yeah, so a lot of reading, a lot of talking last stream with the game, and then prior to it as well. And so we're gonna see how it goes with all the talking I'm gonna be doing with this one. I don't know how long I'm gonna go for. Probably won't go as long as I did yesterday. We only went about 6 hours yesterday, but may not go that long because of the bit later start. But we will see. Also, something. My throat, yes, my voice, depending on how that goes. And then that will also depend on how what we'll do next time, because my throat. But we also do need to get back to Dragon Age 2. I do need to get the DLC. I've still not gotten that. Reason is because when they changed all the stuff over with the older consoles, the PlayStation 3 and the PlayStation Vita, with the PlayStation 5 out, is that you can't buy their stuff on... excuse me, I don't believe you can buy their... I know you can't the Vita, but you can't buy, I'm pretty sure, the PlayStation 3 or Vita stuff on the website anymore, only on the console's store itself. But you have to have the funds in your wallet. You have to have wallet funds. You can't actually just do the card or the PayPal payments from the consoles. Since they changed all of that, you have to have the funds, which means I have to go and put funds onto the wallet. It's a whole thing, and I'm tired all the time, so I don't have the energy. I've had like 3 or 4 sales I think 4, because I've got 4, because I've got like 5 things I have to take to the post office today. One of them was technically not on the weekend, but so I've got 4 things, 4 sales over the weekend, which was nice and a surprise. All of a sudden, like usually maybe on average, I get maybe 1 sale a week, but and then all of a sudden, bang, 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 and they were all like different things. It wasn't like a certain type of thing. It was a bunch of different things. So that was good. That's good. Another good thing, but also then confusing thing. Still talking about that is that eBay's like, oh, we're giving you 10 free shipping labels until the end of the year. Oh, that's nice. But I'll pick and choose, and I'll use it on the things that will be more expensive for me to ship, so I get the best savings. The problem was it only was saying that for one of the 4 items I had to ship. I have to send, and I have no idea why. Yeah, it was one of the ones that was more expensive. But when I say more expensive, I'm only talking at the moment with these ones like 80 cents or something. And I'm like, is it because it has only just started? Like, I don't see any promotional stuff about this. Is it glitching out? What's going on? Well, I'll use this one, so I at least save this like almost $10. Yeah, usually I would have kept it for some of the more computer part type things, which usually the shipping tends to be about $20 or so. So that's good savings, because flipping eBay with their fees is atrocious. It's terrible. It is. It's horrible. It's between 15 to 20%. I've worked out the things because there's a percent thing that changes based on that's your final value fee. It's a percent, but then there's also the actual hard fees of like the insertion fee type. It's not insertion fees because the insertion fees are free, but the whatever fees that they have that aren't a percent, and so it's like 15% plus like 50 cents and something. So I usually round up to 20% and just say that it's 20% fee that comes out of the final price. It's not exactly 20%. Obviously, it is a bit under, but still, it's expensive. It's a lot. Flippin', it's crazy. And what's worse is the fact that like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, flipping eBay in the UK were like, oh, we're removing the fees for people selling stuff now. Not businesses, but private, people. We're removing the fees because there's more competition for eBay in the UK. There's Depop, which we do have, but it's not really big. But then there's another one that I can't remember what it was called, but we don't have whatever that one was. And there's probably a couple of others, but they're like somewhat successful alternatives and competition for eBay in the UK. So seeing that is painful because, again, yeah, I'm getting flipping hit with 20%, 20% of what the price that the thing sells for, which is crazy. Again, it's not 20%, but it's over 15%. So yeah, that was bothersome to see. We do have, obviously, we've got Gumtree. We've got Gumtree, and we have Facebook Marketplace, but they're just different. It does. I don't. They're different, and I don't use Facebook, but I have thought about going back and doing the Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that, but just because of the fees, the fact that there's no fees. And then Gumtree, I have listed some things on there, but it's just, again, there's just not a lot of people. And usually both of those things, people do them for like a local pickup thing, which is what they're good for. But yeah, the stuff that I sell is, quite a few of the people that I sell my things to end up actually being from America. A few things have gone to Canada and Singapore, actually, and Germany. Germany was an interesting one. I had someone buy something from me from Germany, and then a week later they bought something else. And I checked the tracking, and the first thing that they bought from me hadn't even arrived yet. But yeah, and see, I know I'm talking about stuff that's irrelevant to most of the normal things and whatnots and everything, but still, I got nothing else to talk about. I got no other updates on anything. Fish. Why do I have to say that? Because now I can't remember what I was saying. One moment. The fees. Yeah. Ah, right. When international customers buy from me, eBay adds an extra fee on top of it as well, an international fee thingy, and that's fine because it's not too much. But the good thing is that because of the shipping and because of how much I ship, so I ship obviously with Australia Post. I get they have discount bands. They're called bands, and basically it has to do with how much you've spent in the past 4 weeks or the past 12 months. It's confusing why they do it like that, but so basically it's something like to get to band 2, you have to spend. No, sorry. You start on band 0 and you get no discount. To get to band 1, you have to spend $50, over $50 in the past 4 weeks, or I think it's something like $500 within the past 12 months, something like that. Then to get to band 2, you need to spend at minimum $250 on shipping within the past 4 weeks, or like 1,500 in the past 12 months. And it's done like that. And so I'm on band 2. And basically the discounts start at band 1, but the discounts actually start to get like quite good at band 2, especially for international shipping. And so that's where when people buy, international customers buy things from me, and I have eBay does the shipping automatically based on their address that they have in and the weight and dimensions I've got in, and so then they pay that, and then I get my discounts on that, and it's like a couple of dollars, which helps a lot to combating eBay's massive and horrific fees. So I make more money selling to international customers than I do to local people because of the shipping discounts. Yeah, but that's where Marketplace and Gumtree, that's all, you know, local base slash just the country, but they don't have the fees though. So, but yeah, there we go. There's that whole thing. That's probably not super exciting to people, but I like numbers. I'm not a fan of math, but I like numbers, especially when they are nice to me. There used to be back when, way back when, so at our schools and stuff, we have canteens where you go when you get at lunch, you get your nachos or your sausage rolls, your pies, meat pies, that is, savory, not sweet pies, and your icy poles and all sorts of stuff like that, right? Now, depending obviously on the schools, but a lot of the schools will have things where, like programs or whatever, where the students can, go and help run them and stuff like that. And I just remember, where was this? This was for the primary school, when I was in there working and doing that and doing the serving and stuff, is that there was specifically these two girls that would always make sure that they came to me because they knew that they could confuse me and bamboozle me, because they do that. And this is a thing that people actually do as well, is they'd get a bunch of stuff, so I'd start doing the numbers, and then they'd start changing their minds, and they'd go, okay, no, they don't want that, they want this one over here, or they want, and two of these ones are okay, now one less of them ones, and they do that, and they do it so fast that and the thing is that because there's all the kids and you can't be taken too long, it flipping messes with my anxiety and everything and the stress. But the because the things would also be run by the parents and stuff. They'd have usually there'd be like one person that is actually an employee of the school or whatever there, but then also usually there would be like two parents, and then there'd be like two or three of the students. And then, but it's mostly the parents, because most of this stuff is done by the what it's called, P and T, PT and C. It's parent community something, or if there's a T, then it's teachers. That's the interview things, whatever it is. And yeah, so they'd just be like, "I'll just give it to them for this price," and they end up getting the stuff a lot cheaper. And they knew that they could confuse me with their numbers and stuff. Because, like I said, numbers, they're okay. Math, I don't like it. Doesn't work well for me. Especially when I've got to do it quickly. And the big thing as well with that is because numbers, well, with math and so on, but things change between time and money. Because money is based on the 100 system, whereas time is based on a 6 and a 24 or 12. And there have been times where I have gotten confused, and I've been working with money, but I've done it based on a time system. So $1 instead of being 100 cents was 60 cents. That's not how it works. It's 60 seconds to a minute. It's 100 cents to a dollar. Yeah. Anyway, that's my talk on numbers and math. Exciting. Okay, let me start moving the stuff over so we can get into the game and I can continue to talk and hopefully not lose my voice. I am enjoying, though, the story. Fish, you just fiddlesticks. Yes, no, I am enjoying the story of the Coteries of New York. I need to pull this down here. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. There we go. Whoop. Perfect. Okay, very good. Now I move this over. Now, because there's no voice acting in the game, I don't know if when we started having that audio shift syncing issue, if it's been, corrected with the thing that I did that was meant to fix it. Yeah, so I don't know. But because there's no people talking, there's not really an issue. It's just music, mostly. Okie dokie. Yep, we're good. Don't fall. Okay. We got the thingy turned over, so it's a little bit darker still again, to suit the darker themed of the thing. And something. I was going to wear something more. I'm going to flip and point over here. More matching to the character that we chose, but I didn't remember exactly what it looked like. And so it's just white with a red tie. That's easy. I got maybe 2 red ties. I got a couple of maroony ones, but as for white, just pure white collared, I think I've only got like maybe 3 or 4. I got 2. One's super stiff and starchy. One of them's real sort of thinnish. So you can definitely sometimes see the darkness of my chest hair. The other ones are linen. I have 2 linen ones. Yeah. I like linen, but it's got to be good quality linen, because if it's not, it's sort of itchy. That's the problem with linen, is that linen's really nice if you've got something that's a nice and good quality linen. Otherwise, not so much. Alrighty. We're up to night 4. Because, well, what we get up to? What happened? What happened so far? It'd be nice if I had a little recap. Yes, Jess, right. Our former partner, she broke up with us or something. So we apparently just decided to go to a club that we found online or something. And then we met a Latina lady who ended up and she was a vampire, and she turned us into a vampire, which is against the rules. And then she just ran away. and then we ended up feeding on a pimp and a prostitute, which we had no choice. And then we were picked up by a fellow who was a part of the thingy, and then we were brought forward to the council of the whatever people, and they were like, well, we've got strict rules, and this isn't okay, so you're going to get your head cut off. But then the lady that was actually the redhead lady in the what's called, she was all ask for, leniency or whatever, and she'll step in and save us, and she did. And then she took us out one night to teach us how to hunt, how to feed, and whatnot. And then obviously that didn't go super well either, because then another vampire person was like, "You're stepping up on our turf." But turns out he wasn't a part of the main sort of gang thingies. So our vampire lady that we're indebted to of sorts. Well, I mean, yeah, she stopped our head from getting cut off. They brought him to the council people or whatnot, and they were all like, "Well, yep, okay, you're not a part of a thing. You're like riffraff." And then he got his head cut off, and then on the way back, our leader head lady, she was like, I didn't just save you for you to help me. Something about me helping you. Come over tomorrow night because I've got things to tell you." And then that's where we are right now. That was the recap. That was the recap of like the 2 hours that we got to play, because the flippin' first 4 hours of stream was me just reading everything because everyone just kept talking so much and so quickly with the hype train. And then also there was the boxes, and we only got to go through one box, but that box had a lot of stuff. It had all that Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, and then a couple movies, and then a couple games, but they're not there because they're over there. I've seen them now. It's like, did I take them inside? No, I didn't. I just sat them next door. But yeah, so there we go. Now that's where we're up to. That's the recap. Call Jess. Yeah, right. What would you tell her if she even picked up at all? She'd probably use the opportunity to stick some more needles in you, or worse, persuade you to come back. Or go back to work? Yeah, who are we kidding? HR probably found a replacement the day after you went missing. Nobody there cares if you got kidnapped or turned into a creature of the night. Again, the very bottom left part of the of my TV has the energy rating thing still there. So I sometimes have to guess the words because I can only see part of it. So I have to actually check it down there half the time. These thoughts put you in a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as you have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, you're not one of them, not anymore. You're a vampire, kindred. You need to carve your own path in this strange new existence. One way or another, appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building just as that thought crosses your mind. Sophie is the redhead vampire lady that is like your mentor person. You're her underling thing because she saved you and whatnot. A quick word with the security guard and you're let into the elevator. Apparently, Ms. Langley is expecting you. Of course she is. You knock and wait, patiently. As the footsteps on the other side grow closer, finally the door opens and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites you in. You find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's midnight glow. She stares out, motionless, like a marble statue. That's not motionless. The head's moving. I almost got a statue recently, actually. I didn't have the money at the time, and by the time I had the money, someone else got it. But it was a large, life-size, modeled actually on a human. So it was to scale. It was life-size and whatnot. But it was really nice. It had like a real, like a podium thingy that was like, I don't know about the size of it. It was like a meter or something, or a bit under a meter. Yeah, a bit under a meter. Maybe 60 centimeters. Yeah, we'll go with that. Podium thingy for it to sit on, stand on. And they were going to ship it. But yeah, no, they sold it. Someone else bought it. And it had been there for like weeks. And then like 2 days before someone got it. It was very disappointing because it was very, very specific about the sort of statue that I'm after. And it was like pretty much perfect. I'm not going to say perfect because maybe there's something better out there. But it was very close to being perfect. Again, being one that was actually, cast or whatever on from an actual human, a person, and not just one that someone like molded or something, is more preferred because then it is more accurate to again human anatomy size stuff and whatnot. Yes. Everything all right? Am I interrupting something? Good evening, Sophie. Ooh. No, I'm not interrupting something, but we know that everything's got to be more formal and that we've got to know our place. We can't just be going straight up and everything all right. That's also not like super great proper grammary English and whatnot. And we've had a bit of a because of the way in which we've spoken. So yeah, we've got to. Good evening, Sophie. She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of some meditative state and looks at you with strangely bleary eyes. I don't remember the voices for any of the other characters. Yes, good evening, Salem. I was wondering, when you look out at this city, when you see the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? You gaze out. The lights and rain, the relentless honking below, music blasting from a nearby window, echoing off of buildings. Someone should record an hour of this and throw it up on YouTube as an ambient piece. So with all of my camera gear and stuff like that, and all my audio gear and stuff, I do actually have an audio recorder. A Zoom H6 or something. I'm looking at one of the actual microphones I've got for it because I've got a couple of different attachments and so on. But yeah, I've got the Zoom H6. We're gonna say it is, which is what some people do use for ASMR because it does have your X and Y, whatnot, microphone things for the. Your binauralness thing, but they are also used for ambient recordings of nature and stuff. And I have taken mine actually out. I've taken it down to the headland. I'm 5 minutes walk from a couple different beaches divided by a headland. And that headland, though, has basically like a foresty rainforest thing that you walk through. And so you can, when you're in there, then obviously there's a bit less of the sounds of the beach and so on, but there's the birds and stuff like that. And so I've done that. And then also when we've had thunderstorms and stuff, I've also recorded some of that. I've just never gone back and actually gone through the recordings to do anything really with them. But I've got them. And then even the GoPro, the whole idea was that I've got the GoPro to get the video that can then be looped, and then the audio is recorded much better, obviously, with the actual audio recorder that I have, sound recorder thing. But yeah, I haven't gone through really the footage from the GoPro either. Yeah. But yes. Other than that thought, it's business as usual. The sights, the sounds, the smells, you know them all too well. Sophie watches you. You can tell she's disappointed somehow, but she covers it up with a courteous smile. Well, not everyone can appreciate the intricacies. The intricateness, the intricacy, intricacies. Not everyone can appreciate the minute differences that the world offers. In fact, among kindred, my clan is somewhat notorious for finding innate meaning even in the mundane. You see, the blood that flows within me is that of Clan Toreador. There are 13 such bloodlines among us kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights, it seems that nothing is certain anymore. Before we actually even started, because you get the choice of 3 characters to choose, and none of them are the clan that I choose when I used to play the old Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, which was Giovanni. Couldn't remember the name exactly, but I was pretty sure it started with a G. And I went onto a Wikipedia thingy and I was looking at the different ones, and yeah, there was this other one called something with a G. That wasn't right. But then my one wasn't there. I'm very confused. What? That doesn't make sense. I'm sure there was something close to Giovanni. Anyway, turns out that they've changed this stuff now. They've changed the clans. And they've Giovanni, another one, they've put together to make that as a clan. And then there are a couple of other ones that I remember that are now different names or are being combined or something like that. And I don't know when they've done it. And I'm assuming it's probably a part of 5th edition. We're talking the pen and paper type of thing here now. But yeah. Oh, confusing and disappointing, and everything's changing. Ugh. But good luck. I'm off for some sleep. Might be back before you finish, but I don't know. Probably not. Probably not. Because you're not going to be awake until in the afternoon. Oh, excuse me. And I'm probably not going to last that long. But no worries. Thank you very much for being here, Dimitri. I hope you have a wonderful sleep and a wonderful day ahead of you upon your rise. We look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now. Right. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these nights have their roots in medieval times. The original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor called carried from sire to child. For the Toreador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot. A blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such. Porker dear, it breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there is a beauty to it as well. Nothing like a good fall from grace. Try as she might to act playful, you can tell she genuinely cares. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment, but is quick to regain her composure. Then there are the Venture. Known for their pride and a proclivity to rule over others, the prince represents that clan, as is quite common in our society around the globe. I believe that's what my character is the Venture. The Toreador was I think I'm a Toreador. A Venture was the middle character, the lady. I was going to choose her originally, but then I'm like, ooh, are we playing me or are we playing what I would play? Because of the 3 choices you actually had in this game, the Venture was probably closest to what I would have chosen. But if we're more playing me, I had to go with this character, with the Toreador. And then the third one was the Bruja, whatever it was. And I've never played them. I wouldn't play them. Yeah. Where the Blue Bloods think themselves rulers, The Bruja like to see themselves as preemptive revolutionaries. They call for universal rebellion while being slaves to their own temper. We don't discuss the rabble much anymore, not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. To think they were philosophers once, long ago. I hope to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight. What's my clan? How can I tell a kindred's clan? Clans stick together, right? What's my clan? Do you know what my clan is? No, I can only guess it based on certain aspects of your behavior and tastes. You will need to come to your own conclusion and seek validation from your clanmates if you require such a thing. As you will no doubt learn, some kindred fit these stereotypes more than others. The blood is hard to deny, though there are certainly those who try. But that is perhaps a subject for another time. I invited you here for a reason. There is something I wanted to speak to you about. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize into coteries. Sometimes these are called by the prince themselves or mandated by fledgling's sire. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it is useful. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. Where should I look for allies? Do you have your own coterie? What if I want to go it alone? Do you have your own coterie? So tell me, are you part of a coterie? Any close allies? I do have those that I trust enough to work with, yes. Not a coterie exactly, though I have joined several of those over the years, not in over a century though. Ooh. You, however, you would do well to meet some of the city's younger kindred and see if you can find a connection. It's an essential experience for one so young. She puts on a mysterious smile. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints that I cannot provide, lenses through which to view our kind. They are all members of the Camarilla, of course, more or less. Okay, who are they? Thanks, I guess. You're choosing friends for me? Okay, who are they? Alright then, let's hear it. Who's on the list? Eager to learn about them, I see. Good, I'm glad. So let us start with the Tremor. They're a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. I think they might have been the second ones. I was usually the Giovanni, or the second ones were the Tremor ones, because of the sorcery, I think. You look at Sophie with a hint of disbelief. Blood sorcerers? Pretty sure Mark from QA used to brag about having a level 70 blood sorcerer. Somehow you don't think he meant magical vampires. Sophie snickers. Oh child, don't be caught with that look on your face when you meet a warlock in person. They really are adept at using the vitae. The vitae? It's the blood. Their own, as well as others, to unique and potent effects. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he is quite the scholar, very ambitious, the child of a noted tremor here in New York, Ailing Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. Blood magic? Intriguing. A scholar? Sounds boring. A chance to meet an important person then. Ooh. Blood magic. Intriguing. This whole blood magic thing sounds intriguing. Oh yes, fascinating. It is also a well-kept secret of the Tremor. Don't expect them to share it right away. Some things have to be earned. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremor, I hear you can usually find him in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremor have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Is that the only one? Isn't there more? Yes, there. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeve, Nosferatu. It's going to be Nosferatu. The Nosferatu ones, obviously the name, they look like Nosferatu. They're considered sewer rats because they look hideous. Because they look like Nosferatu, the original vampire. Bang. What did I say? The Nosferatu. Man, what's with the goofy names? Guess they're really big on Blue Oyster Cult. No wonder they make their havens in sewers. Abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Had they walked the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of our existence long ago. Did she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on an even more sickly color. The one I have in mind isn't as big an eyesore as the worst of them, but he is no Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connections that you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me. The ones with the awful furniture. What, IKEA? An office? What connections does he have? You mentioned this D'Angelo has some useful connections. I was just getting to that. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Kadir, digging up dirt, locating kindred who would prefer to remain hidden, the kind of work the Nosferatu are best at. He's on the case right now, something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might be just the thing. She takes a brief pause to look out the window again. Now come the two more exotic proposals. Ooh, exotic, as if the blood mage and the vampire detective were business as usual. You may have heard about the Gangrel before. See, that's the other G one. That's not the one that I was. They are a wild clan, in touch with their beast in a way others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions. Nominally, they have been a part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades. But the one kindred I would like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999. The very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. Anything more about Tamika? You mentioned siblings. Should I contact non-Camarilla clans? Oh, that'd be dangerous, I think. You mentioned siblings. Siblings, actual biological brothers and sisters? No, not in the mortal sense. The Gangrel sometimes use the word brood to indicate childer begat by the same sire. As you can probably tell, they do take the whole animal motive quite far. I'm not sure how many of them there are, but they are rumoured to be a tight-knit group. The gangrel often act on instinct, so when you meet Tamika or her siblings, be careful not to slight them. They are easily provoked and can hold a grudge for a long time. I speak from experience. So, you see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational, if nothing else, and who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though it's one I don't make lightly, the kindred who calls herself Hope. Oh, she's a Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries, we considered them mad, insane, unhinged. But those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them appear to us as unstable, and that perception can prove to be very valuable. Having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled among kindred. As for Hope specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can currently be found in an internet cafe. I believe it's called in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has the address. I like this one. She doesn't sound like my type. What? An internet cafe? Quaint. Where did you learn about Hope? Where did you learn about her exactly? One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tapped into the current fads among kind. Not something I am personally interested in, as I'm sure you know by now. I take his word for it, at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. Cordial visits. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, that reminds me, you will need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? I'm getting my own car now as well? Wow. She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on her coat, and the three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous compact car, a decent looking, if not luxurious, ride. Stay safe, Salem. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had for the past few nights. A blessing or a burden, time will tell. With a list of addresses in hand, you consider your next move. There we go. Finally, we're up to the thing where we get do-do-do-pop-pop-a-doodle-doo. Like I said, it's not just going to be the things, it's the whatchamacall things. So, yeah. Hi, good morning, afternoon, or evening, Mark. How are you today? I hope that you are well and wonderful. Okay. It's a kind of magic. Sophie's mention of a vampire clan of blood sorcerers sparked your attention. One of them, Agathon, could potentially be your introduction into the bizarre powers of the Tremor. Oh, okay, there we go. I was like, it's not letting me move. No, it is. Searching for Hope. Sophie suggested you meet Hope, a reclusive member of the Malkavian clan. She's supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. She's got white hair. Or like platinum blonde. Ooh. Gumshoe in the dark. A recent string of violent killings has the Red Hook district of Brooklyn on edge. Sophie mentioned that Kadir Al-Asmay has a secret associate investigating the murders, a Nosferatu neonate by the name of D'Angelo. If you help him out, he might be persuaded to form a lasting partnership. The iconic thing that they got there, that doesn't look like a Nosferatu, you know? You're doing great, fantastic to hear, wonderful. I hope that remains to be the same, if not changes, to be even better for you as your day goes on. And then the last one, Jezebel's Childer. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Ferrells aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards, but if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. Ooh, that one sounds exciting too, but I think we'll go searching for Hope. The magic one could be interesting too, but we'll go the Hope one. Because of the crazy. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days, but behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street, you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly, and some bored kids wasting the late evening hours on colourful online games. Flippin' spelt colourful the wrong way. If Sophie's intel is to be believed, this is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building, gazing at the sky with a smartphone in one hand and a vape pen in the other. You approach the man and tell him, "I'm looking for Hope. I was supposed to meet Hope here. I'm here on official business." I'm looking for Hope. No, I was supposed to meet Hope here. I'm looking for Hope. He releases a soft chuckle. "Yeah, you and me both." The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and down in silence. After a long, awkward moment, when you're ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. "Come, right this way." He heads back into the cafe, and you follow his lead. Ooh. When you make your way through the space with computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. You two swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile grey corridors. Flippin' grey's wrong as well. Taking confusing twists and turns. See, because I know the game was, what was it? They said it was done by Polish group, I think. So, should be using American spelling. Feels like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually, you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. That looks pretty fancy-ish. Lots of papers, though. As you do, you hear the doors shutting behind your back and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? I think it is. Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of the computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. A cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After brief consideration, you type in your name, a random string of characters, something goofy, your name. Salem. Better play it straight and prove you have nothing to hide, as a gesture of goodwill. After a few seconds, the chat window opens and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Oh. Hostage execute. Wait, what? Oh, no. Meant Jerry, not Matt. Yeah, Jerry's the chat. I've far worse time. I'm oh my god. Who is wait? No, a new user word. So what the inform? No, it wasn't it. Identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. Whew. The chat goes silent. Everyone's seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This must be a close-knit group. Better say something before they kick you out. I'm looking for Hope. Looking for Hope. Is she here? Volga. Who the flip are you? This was meant to be a safe channel investigating what went. How did the stake up? Is it Joe? How you sure? That's a Jerry did DM. Oh, you're in trouble. Yeah, you go. The day you decide to spy on us. What? The waiter brought me here. I don't want trouble. I'm leaving. Try to get the chat under control. My thing's worked so far when that's been doing it. I mean, we weren't fast enough the last time with the thing, but we'll try it. You've had enough of these trash-talking randoms. Time to teach them some respect, alright? Your blood fires up. Ancient power starts coursing through your veins, fingers tapping the key buttons on their own, alright? You people will stay quiet if you know what's good for you. Have no idea who you're messing with. You will obey me. No, there's no. Ah, mistakes, mistakes, mistakes. Oh no. The chat goes on once again and then it explodes. Oh no. Ah, ha, ha, ha. What am I looking at here? Ha. Oh, flip, watch out. You start typing properly. I'm so glad I decided to log in early today. You have no idea who you're messing with. You know he means business. Whew. Guess your powers don't work online. Yeah. Of course, go figure. You know your cheeks would turn blood red right now if they still could. Whew. Got the info. Nice. You want to die? You will die. You will die. Okay. Sentenced to death for a terrible name their mother gave them. Whew. I'm literally on my way to kill you right now. Yeah, sorry to inform you. You're about to die. You're getting your throat slit right here, right now. Wow. Split second after you read the message, you feel someone's arms tightening around your neck. The violent return to reality catches you off guard. A jolt of panic rushes through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily. You've come to the wrong chat room. A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear, and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you're having trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with. Last words. So if you sent me here, good luck, I can't die. The thing is that the information was told to her. So they're not, I mean, it doesn't mean that they won't know her, but the information was told to her by someone that she had it on good authority from, right? That's what she'd said. Oh, but don't antagonize them. I don't like any of it. Well, I mean, that's the antagonizing. But am I about to die? Is this about to end? Oh, because my head can be cut off. Good luck, I can't die. Yeah, okay, we'll go with that. Good luck, I can't die. Just because you're kindred, got some bad news for you. Yeah, see? The hand holding your chin shifts in its position slightly. Don't struggle or I will break your windpipe or my phone, which would end even worse for you. Sounds of a camera, shutter, and light flashing. Did they just take some selfies with you? Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go. We can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mr. Intruder. Pretty please. Because she's crazy and everything, right? So she'll threaten to kill you and then take a picture with you. Alright? The mysterious assailant loosens their grip on you and gently pushes you away. You quickly turn to take a good look at them. Let me just finish this. That's a lot of tattoos. It's a pale blonde woman in her 20s, giving you slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. First, you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. Then, you take note of her tattoos, a sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At first glance, it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you for a second. Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission. And she's back to her phone. With her relatively small build, it's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead, and even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her. Calm yourself. Yeah, fish. I need, gah. Calm yourself, man. I won't put anything like this anymore. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just a feel stupid saying it out loud. I can read and I can speak. Feel stupid saying it out loud. A vibe check. Ugh. Vibe check? Vibe check. Vibe check? What? Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet and in a dangerous situation. I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you've probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries, but come to think of it, I might have skipped too many of those. Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were given by Sophie. I still can't believe you got so mad online. You actually tried to use your powers on people, talking trash about you from who knows where. Jeez. But you know, I kind of respect that dedication. It's amusing. Okay, anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all a game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything. But look, if we're going to talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? About time she asked. Note to self, she really loves the sound of her own voice. Sophie Langley sent me. I'm building a coterie. I need help. Ooh. Sophie Langley sent me. Maybe she'll know her, but yeah, no. Sophie Langley sent me here. Langley? Wait. Flip! Are you the new Langley plaything? Word seems to be getting around fast. Of course you are. It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she'd start building a network. Your omissions tell me that could really come in handy when... But Langley, that's a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Yeah, but then again, flippin' Kara, She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself, only parts of it audible. Is it just you, or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you, she focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, is still obsessed with her smartphone. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me and that I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I propose a little game. What kind of show? Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. Then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Oh, no. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. No. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging from it. On top of the bed sheets, you notice what seems to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera. Wait a minute. Mistakes. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntary. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion. Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. She's serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I've got better things to do. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap, 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 tap. 9 minutes. It's now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the masquerade. Hi. Content warnings? Oh yes. So, do you take the job? She said she wouldn't hold grudge, but what's it called said that one of them does hold grudges. Didn't she? Yeah, she did. Which one was it? Was it this one? Was it... It's not specifically her, but, the Machiavellian? Malkavian? Whatever? Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. This isn't a test. This isn't a test because the stuff's actually there. Oh. Oh no. What's it called said though that should be useful? But it was on a word. It was on someone else's word. So she didn't completely know. Oh boy. Oh boy. If I have to, it's not enough of a middle ground. but oh no. Should have gone the flippin' blood sorcerer. The violating the masquerade thing is concerning. No, I'm out. I'm definitely out. Oh, but it's for the best, probably. Hope looks honestly disappointed that you care much after that welcome and that offer. Not that you care much after that welcome and that offer. Oof. Alright, get out, through the door, go right, keep heading straight until you reach the stairs. Red door on the left, you should be able to find your way from there. Through the door, right, stairs, red door on left, gotcha. Just in case. She leads you out and shuts the door in a hurry behind your back. You follow her directions and eventually emerge from the labyrinth of grey corridors into a cluttered back alley. Back on the streets again, meeting Hope and deciding she's not the right fit for you didn't take too much of your time, but what should your next move be? Oh, boy. Yeah, we gotta rest. Alright. You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-coloured old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No formal person sends letters like this. No normal person sends letters like this. The stuff that I use and write with my letters is stuff from, I believe, France. It's a printing, a stationery mill thing, whatnot, that does stuff and has done stuff for royalty for a very long time. But specifically, the stuff's not too expensive either. But the one that I get usually is a cotton paper blend. It's really nice. Usually the colors that I have is I have an ivory and I have a cream, I think. Both papers and envelopes. But I don't get to use them that often because I don't write letters anymore because I have no one to write letters to. But yeah. But each time I do end up having to write, my hands cramp up because of how long it's been since I've written. I actually had to write a note the other week. And so I had to go and get my pens, my fountain pens, because it's all fountain pen paper stuff. And because of how long it's been, most of my pens' inks dried out. Only one of them hadn't actually, which was good. But yeah, so I spent like a couple of hours cleaning my other pens, and I still need to clean some more, so they're ready for me to put new cartridges in or to fill up their little reservoirs and so on. But yes, anyway. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. There is no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. So that's this one. Faith and Myth, Part 1. You've received an invitation to meet a mysterious someone at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. Alright. I'll go to because the other ones I should have any time, sort of, right? So you haven't been to a church since you became a vampire, or kindred, as the euphemism goes. You've had to focus on concrete, practical things like survival and feeding. You've learned the essentials of the vampire experience, but you don't really have a clear idea of what it all means. The Cathedral of St. John the Divine is a New York landmark. You haven't been inside since before when you were much younger. You marveled at its Gothic facade. Facade? Facade. It's the facade. It's the facade. It's not facade. Usually it's got the little what's it called as well underneath the C. Looking at it now from across the street, it feels ominous. The prospect of an anonymous invitation to a secret meeting is a worrying one. But the venue is well chosen. It's hard to imagine a violent attack in a place like this, with eyes everywhere. You enter the cathedral discreetly. You've quickly learned this is an essential skill for a vampire, how to move without anyone noticing you. The full force of the cathedral's architecture hits you as you walk between the pews. If the architect meant to create the feeling of being small in the face of God's glory, mission accomplished. Based on the note, you're assuming that whoever you're meeting is somewhere in the front. As you step closer to the high altar, it feels as if something is dragging at your feet, as if the stone beneath you resisted your movement. Religion is superstitious. Vampires are satanic creatures. Does God still listen to you? It's been a long time since you prayed. You wonder whether God listens to creatures like you. Fatalistically, you take a step, then another. You're not sure if your God is present in this cathedral, but perhaps it doesn't matter. What you feel is real enough. There's an old man sitting in the front. You see only the back of his head, bowed down in silent prayer. Your footsteps echo on the floor and he turns to look at you. You can't take your eyes off him. He's tall, dignified, white hair balding, a few strands escaping to the sides. He's wearing glasses and simple clerical clothing. His eyes are warm and pale, too kind for someone like you. Something is wrong. You feel heavy, as if a giant hand was pressing you down. The skin on your face is burning. Perhaps unconsciously, you expected something like this. As a vampire walking into a cathedral, only it's not the building or God making you feel like you're burning alive. It's the man, the priest. Because they did say about the stuff that holy water and all that sort of stuff doesn't actually do anything unless it's actually from a genuine holy type person. Welcome, my child. Hold on. Welcome, my child. The priest's tone is kind, but the rising panic inside is telling you that kindness is not for the likes of you. Run! Confront the priest. Ooh. The only way to understand these painful feelings is to push forward and confront the priest. As you step closer to the priest, panic rises inside you. The emotions are hard to control. Fear, anger, pain, all trying to wrestle you in different directions away. Can I help? Fish. Well, how do I do it? Can I help? Can I help you? Are you okay? The priest talks to you like he would a lost vagrant who has chosen to enter the house of God. How are you doing this? Please, it hurts. I'm sorry, Father. I'm so sorry. Please, it hurts. How are you doing this? How are you doing this? I'm afraid I don't understand. It's simply too much. You mutter something incoherent in reply. You don't sound like a vampire, an undead being made powerful by immortal blood. You're just another sad, confused, lost soul. You turn around and stagger away, only feeling like yourself once you're back on the street outside. Oh, we're allowed to get out. You stand on the sidewalk, confused and scared. No enemies seem to be attacking you. The priest didn't follow you. The night air is wet with the smell of the city, the same as every night. How did it feel? Wow, that's the person because of the what's it called thing. Psh. You look at the man speaking to you. He's well dressed, if a little archaic, dark-haired, handsome, like a character from an old movie. He smiles as if he knows something you don't. You glance around. There are people on the street. You don't appear to be in immediate danger. Who the flip are you? Did you do this to me? Why does it hurt so much? Did you do this to me? No, absolutely not. Let me introduce myself. My name is Benoit Segal? Benoit Segal? Benoit Segal we'll go with. We share many things... fish. We share many things in common, even if you don't know me. Benoit offers his hand to you. Shake hands. You refuse, glaring at him. Benoit's handshake is firm and dry. He looks at you intently, as if trying to find something in your eyes. Would you mind sitting with me for a moment? Benoit points to a park bench nearby, in darkness because of a broken streetlight. Wary, you decide to follow him. Only an enemy totally unconcerned with the masquerade would attack you here. Benoit sits down and you follow suit. For a moment you both contemplate the cathedral in silence. I know how it feels, what you just felt. I have experienced it myself, many times. For a moment you consider how to respond. It's clear Benoit sent the invitation to come here and orchestrated this little setup. Why did you invite me? Did you try to kill me? I feel like punching you. What's the point? Why did you go to the trouble of getting me here? We share a connection, you and I. I'll explain it later. Oh, maybe he was started by the same person. Oh, maybe. But right now, the important thing is that it's just so much easier to show than to tell. I wanted you to meet Father Anthony, or see him, experience him. Did you wonder why it felt like that? It was the priest. Is it a supernatural power? At first, I thought it was because I was in a church, but then I realized it came from him, the priest. I think you're right. It does come from him. It's his faith that makes you feel like that. He's safe in his belief, while you are one of the damned. Do you ever wonder what's the role of a vampire in God's creation? You stop to think. Of course you've wondered what this is all about. Whether it's about God or nature, you don't really know what being a vampire means. That's the trouble with the Masquerade. A human faced with a human problem can go online and find something that helps. You can't. The Masquerade means that everything there is to know about your condition is secret, hidden away. You're left relying on the unreliable opinions of people like Benoit. Suddenly, Benoit takes your hand and presses it against his chest. As he stares into your eyes, you feel his heart stop. You feel his heart stop. My heart no longer beats, yet I move. I talk. Is that how God intended us to be? There's a natural explanation. No, can't be. Let me go. Whoa, I don't believe in the supernatural. There's a natural explanation for all of this. We just don't know it. Maybe there is. I don't know either, but I know that Father Anthony's faith is real. Sometimes I'm skeptical too, but in Father Anthony's presence I know faith is real. I know it because it hurts so much. But perhaps you have questions about faith and our kind. Yes. What are we? How do you know any of these stories are true? Perhaps we are divine, not damned. Yes, what are we? There is the usual story, which most of us believed, especially before modern times. Cain was the first murderer. As punishment, God cursed him to walk in darkness and carry his mark of Cain. Cain passed on his curse as he drank the blood of the living, and thus we were born. God's curse passed on to some new with each embrace. Maybe it's true. We all have our lineages, our sires and the sires of our sires. If you trace those lineages all the way to the top, you find Cain, the original vampire. Which is also why that you've got Soul Reaver. What is it? Soul Reaver, Legacy of Cain. That's it. Legacy of Cain. You know. I suppose God is cruel. The curse perpetuates itself, leading to new evils. These are just crazy vampire stories. Did I come here just to talk about religion? This is a lot to take in. All these myths, hard to know what to believe. I know it's overwhelming. It was for me when I first met Father Anthony. I know there are others like him, whose faith shines like a beacon. Priests, old ladies, children, anyone can have that conviction inside them. I have to go. This is too much. I have to pray for guidance. This is too much. This is too much, man. This is too much. You expect me to go along with all of this insanity? I didn't say insanity. Benoit nods patiently. Let's meet again in a few nights, here at the cathedral. We can talk more after you've thought it through. You leave Benoit sitting in the shadow of the cathedral, contemplating what lies within. It would be easy to ignore his words without the reality of what you experienced. Father Anthony was holy. You know it to be true. But what does that mean? Psychosomatic. That boy needs therapy. Alrighty. I think we'll go with the gumshoe one, because then that's got to do with Kadir and stuff. Alrighty. As you make your way down Clinton Street, the incessant hum of traffic gives way to the ominous silence of the waterfront. You stop to take in the familiar bouquet of the Hudson, made all the more potent by your recent sharpened senses. Across the basin, the Red Hook grain terminal rears its rusty frame. Once a bustling industrial area, now a sleeping giant, played out on the riverbank, forgotten, abandoned. Conveniently so, especially for one of the hidden. Keeping to the shadows, you sneak closer to the dilapidated complex, making your way past hole-ridden silos and wobbly chain-link fences. By the time you reach the entrance to the main building, you can almost feel the rust particles making themselves cozy at the back of your throat. Not getting your hopes up, you give the door a slight nudge. To your surprise, it gives almost instantly. Looks like someone's been using it recently. Once inside, you find yourself in a large empty hall. Looking around, you can almost picture it back in its heyday, stacked to the rafters with heavy machinery. You notice a set of stairs leading up to a mezzanine, most likely an office space, and then you see it, a faint light coming from one of the upper rooms. Looks like you're in luck. Quietly, with bated breath, you climb the steps and approach the dimly lit room. The door creaks open, revealing what looks like an old-timey detective's office, complete with crooked window blinds, an overflowing ashtray, and paper scattered across a wooden desk. Suddenly it hits you, that nagging feeling. This is all too convenient, too inviting. Before you can react, the trap is already sprung. Whoa. A plume of cigar smoke wafts over your shoulder. The barrel of a gun rubs against your spine. A raspy voice whispers in your ear. Oh, okay, raspy. How do I do the raspy? Let me guess. Took a wrong turn at the third silo? Attempt to talk down the assailant. Rush the assailant. Presence. Make him stand down. Didn't work last time, but that was because it was on the digital computer. Depends on how I'm going to try and make him stand down. But we'll try it. Driven by a strange hunch, you open your mouth. You hear yourself talking, but the words are not yours. They seem to be coming from the deepest recesses of your memory, a movie you saw as a child. You don't know why, but it seems oddly appropriate. I know what you're thinking. This punk ain't got nothing on me. I'm sitting pretty on a loaded cult detective special. 5 in the cylinder, 1 in the chamber, and I only need the one. As corny as it all sounds, the stranger seems oddly receptive to your tough guy monologue, so you decide to bump it up a notch. Focusing your will, you boost your aura, filling the room with your presence. Your voice becomes smooth, oozing with charisma, a regular Sam Spade. You yourself can't help but feel a sense of awe. Hopefully, the stranger feels it too. But then there's that's me. But then there's that nagging feeling. What if there's more to this guy than he lets on? What if he's got me right where he wants me? Maybe I should hear what he has to say. Is that right? Yeah. So how about we drop the tough guy act and talk like adults? You can always shoot me once we're done. For a few tense seconds, the room grows quiet. So quiet, in fact, you could swear you can actually hear the smoke swirling in the air. Finally, the stranger speaks again. You got a point there, kid. In a strange interplay of light and shadow, the stranger reappears behind his desk. Seeing him in his full, for lack of a better word, glory, you can't help but smirk. This is the dreaded Nosferatu. The way Sophie described them, you were expecting some grotesque monstrosity, yeah, see? But this guy, the clothes, the swagger, the hard-boiled detective routine, it all comes across as a bad joke. Still, when it comes to appearance, his lineage is undeniable. From 30 feet away, he could probably pass for a bum with a nasty skin condition. From 5 feet away, he looks like something made to be seen from 30 feet away. He leans back in his chair, casually pointing his gun at you. Yeah, Nosferatu's, all the ones I'd seen were, a lot more sort of disfigured looking and stuff. So, what brings you to my humble office? I'm looking for a Nosferatu. Are you D'Angelo? The Red Hook murders? I'm here about the Red Hook murders. Yeah, that. Nasty business. What's it got to do with me? A lot, if you ask Kadir. A lot, apparently. At least Kadir seems to think so. His expression sours. Not a name you want to casually toss around, kid. But hey, I get it. You're not some random schmuck who wandered in here off the street, so let's get down to the nitty-gritty. Name's D'Angelo. Gin to my friends. so you can call me D'Angelo. Who I work for is less important. What I'm working on, however, isn't going so well, so let me help. Isn't going so well. I think you could use some help. He gives you a look that's dirty, even by Nosferatu standards. Yeah, he's probably not like that. Well, ain't you clever? D'Angelo lowers his shades for a few seconds. He sits motionless, with his eyes fixed on yours. Suddenly he raises his gun, almost making you flinch. Almost. Then he twirls it into his shoulder holster in a flashy display that definitely looks like it was practiced a lot in front of a mirror. You see the Nosferatu's lips move, but the quiet mumbling clearly isn't meant for your ears. Listening in, you're able to catch snippets of his monologue. Sure, they seemed to care. What was the endgame? What was their angle? Everybody's got one, even if they pretend like they don't. Especially then. What the hell? Maybe this town finally got to me. He pauses, sticks a fresh cigar between his crooked teeth. Maybe a good leap of faith is just what the doctor ordered. Are you narrating? Offer him a light? Do I have a light? Remain silent. Sure. Goodwill gesture. Offer him a light. As he reaches into his pocket, you flash a lit lighter before his eyes. Or maybe you could use a healthy dose of unhealthy. For a split second, he gives you a puzzled look. Then he leans over to your lighter, puffing on the cig as it catches fire. A wry smile comes back to his lips. I like you, kid. You might look like a used car salesman, but there's just something about you. Tell you what, I was just about to head back to the crime scene, take a look around, refresh my notes. You can tag along if you want to. I could use an assistant, someone to take notes and make wild assumptions for me to jot down, shoot down. Who knows, if you're any good, I might consider making this a long-term arrangement. Sounds good. You won't regret it. What are we waiting for? What are we waiting for? Just one more thing. You still got me at a disadvantage here. Seems like you've done some digging on me, but with you, I've barely scratched the surface. You catch my drift? So answer me this. Who was it that sent you into my neck of the woods? Or in layman's terms, who do you work for? Free agent. I'd rather keep it to myself. Sophie Langley. It went well last time, I said that her, but it went a little too well, to the point that it kind of went not well-ish. Not what I was expecting. Certainly not while streaming. Sophie Langley. For the first time since you got there, Nosferatu adopts a look of genuine surprise, his eyes wandering for a moment, finally giving way to a crooked smile. So you're the one, huh? The fledgling the Toreador dame spared. Yeah, that would make sense. Don't think she'd appreciate you throwing her name around. Thanks for being upfront, kid. Yeah, okay, geez. One blink is enough for you to miss D'Angelo vanishing from his chair. Just when you're about to look around, he reappears right next to you, up close. His smile is even more unnerving. Alright, moonlight's burning. Let's get cracking. With a certain fascination, you watch D'Angelo stumble his way across West Brooklyn. Oddly animated, incessantly scratching his face and neck, stopping every once in a while for a bout of bumbling narration. He is most certainly a sight to behold. Still, he seems to be getting around okay, and you take particular note of the fact that he seems to be choosing the darker, less frequented streets. There is definitely a method to his madness. Eventually, your leprous guide takes a sudden turn off a Van Brunt Street and into a particularly dingy alleyway. The torn pieces of yellow police tape are a dead giveaway. This has to be the place. Well, here we are. Time for you to earn your stripes. This is where they found him. Drained dry, not a drop of blood in him. And before you ask, no, I didn't get to see the body, so I don't know if there were any bite marks. So, what can you tell me? You take a moment to examine the crime scene. Judging by the chalk outline on the pavement, the man was killed recently. Curiously, there doesn't appear to be a trace of blood or viscera. And you know the city's cleanup crew isn't that fast or that thorough. Looking up, you notice a spray-painted sign on the wall. It reads, "The Blood Speaks," in big, crooked letters. You look to D'Angelo, the Nosferatu, giving you an expecting look. The graffiti looks like a clue. How come there's no blood? Did the detective tell me? Did you say the victim was drained dry? 'Cause I don't see a trace of blood anywhere. Good eye, kid. It's the details that count. And given that the murder was committed right here, and the victim didn't make a sound, we can therefore conclude that the killer was kindred. The killer was sedated. It was committed right here, and the victim didn't make a sound. The killer used a sedative, not was sedated. No, see, when they do the feeding, they can make noises, can't they? Yeah, because it's like an ecstatic thing. So yeah, and that they didn't make a sound. That's what makes me think that they used a sedative. The killer used a sedative. And then what? Pump out the blood without spilling a drop? With people nearby? Nah, kid. Only one set of tools can do it this quickly and this quietly. But does it make it so they can't make any noise? He smiles and taps himself on one of his fangs. We're looking for a kindred, but not just any kindred. Take a look at that graffiti. What do you think it means? Ugh. It's meant to throw us off. It seems desperate. Nothing. It's meant to throw us off. Nah, fish. We got two wrong. I can see why you'd think that, but look at how crooked the letters are. Barely legible. You can't fake something like that. Someone was very nervous, very scared. It definitely meant something to them. Tell me, if you were to guess, which clan would you say our killer belongs to? Fish. I don't know who Thin Bloods are. What's it called is what What's it called was, and they're nuts. Tremor, that's what I am / what's it called? It's nervous. But they're crazy. Do they get nervous? I'd say Thin Bloods because I don't know what they are. Malkavians? Maybe it's a Malkavian killer. They're pretty nuts, right? Nah, kid. The Moonies can be a bit playful, but there's a method to their madness. It leaves a certain aftertaste. This right here, it reeks of desperation. I might be jumping to conclusions, but my money's on the Thin Bloods. I don't know who they are. He pauses, spits out the mangled remains of a scar. See, so I couldn't have chosen them because I don't know what they were, so I don't know the word to have said it, actually. Flip, looks like we're gonna have to pay Larson a visit. The Thin Blood Primogen? Do I know that? How do I know that? You don't sound happy. You don't seem too happy about it. It's complicated. Larson's got a neat setup for a Thin Blood anyway. Lives with his family. A mortal family, mind you. Wah, wah. Even though he's a Primogen, he's managed to shield them from kindred politics, and that takes some doing. Not sure if he knows who the killer is, but he could probably make an educated guess. In any case, we'd be doing him a favor. If it turns out one of his is violating the Masquerade, it would put him in a hell of an awkward situation, and I mean an awkward situation. It's the kind of weakness the other Primogen would love to exploit. His position in the council is bad as it is. He pauses for a moment and mumbles to himself. But it's too quiet for you to make out. Finally, he lights up a fresh cigar. He takes a puff and lets the smoke escape through his crooked smile. Alright, kid, let's get this over with. Compared to the industrial ugliness of Red Hook, Sterling Place is quite a change of scenery. The heavily gentrified and pleasantly dull residential area emanates the sort of peaceful apathy that rich hipsters scoff at and blue-collar workers dream of. All of a sudden, the Nosferatu stops. It almost seemed like he was taking a deep breath, steeling himself for things to come. This is the place. With that, he points to a surprisingly nice-looking two-story house. The place is almost completely dark. Almost. You notice a dim light shining through the curtains of an upper-story window. It's probably safe to assume that the head of the family is working late, especially if the head of the family happens to be a vampire. Okay, kid, we gotta be gentle about this. I'm talking velvet gloves, soft cushions. You rang, my lord? Gentle. We need to get Larson out here without making a fuss or letting his family see us. If we blow this, he'll shut down like a speakeasy on raid night. Trust me, I know. Sounds like you two have some history. Let's get to it. What's the plan? Sounds like you two have some history. Sounds about right, but that's a story for another time. Right now, let's stick to why we're here. Tell you what, how about you take the lead on this one? I'm curious to see how you handle it. You take a step back and look around the area. The lit-up window seems like a safe bet. Now it's just a matter of getting Larson's attention, his and no one else's. As you're trying to come up with a viable strategy, you are suddenly startled by a loud noise. It takes you a second to identify the sound as a dog's barking. It doesn't take you long to figure out where it came from, as a bearded man leading a Rottweiler on a leash comes into view. Ring the doorbell. Throw a small rock at the window. Feeding opportunity. A man walking his dog. Ooh. No, that doesn't seem like a feeding opportunity because it's the dog and the man. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. Not a Rottweiler anyway. Throw a small rock at the window. You kneel down and pick a rock off the lawn, one small enough to not break glass, but big enough to get someone's attention. Deftly, you chuck the rock at the window. It bounces off the glass with a quiet but audible thunk. Moments pass in silence, making you think no one got your message. Just as you start to look for another rock, you hear the window slice open. A very unassuming and slightly unshaven man in a turtleneck appears at the window. As soon as he notices you, his expression sours, like he just smelled something rotten. He addresses your Nosferatu partner in what could only be described as a very loud and very angry whisper. Hey, I know that guy. Get the flip off my lawn, D'Angelo. You know goddamn better than to show your ugly mug around here. You glance over to D'Angelo. He looks somewhat embarrassed, scratching the back of his neck, clearly trying to find the right angle to play this. Get down here or we get loud. This is important. Don't interfere. Ooh. We wouldn't have bothered you if this wasn't important. Salem, stay where you are. You wait out in the lawn, listening to Larson quietly making his way downstairs. Before long, he appears on the porch, locking the front door behind him. He motions at you to follow him off to the side of the house. There, he turns towards you. What do you want? It's about the Red Hook murders. We think one of yours is responsible. Bollocks. A Duskborn's got enough trouble just staying alive out here. What could possibly make them openly violate the Masquerade? Desperation. The killer's been leaving messages. Whoever they are, I think they know something they can't share with just anyone. I know it seems far-fetched, but it's the only way this puzzle fits together. Nah, I don't buy it. You're reaching, trying to find a scapegoat, get in your boss's good graces. Word gets around, D'Angelo, you think I don't know who you're working for. Then help us clear your name. Figures you'd cover for one of your own. What if we stop asking politely? Then help us clear your people's name. What have you got to lose? Everything. I've been a thorn in the council's side for a while now. This is just the excuse they need to get rid of me. No, Fish, that's not his voice. Ah. What if it turns out one of yours did it and you sat on your hands to protect him? You think the council won't jump on that? He looks off into the darkness, pondering his options. He lets out a heavy sigh. Look. No, look. I'll ask around. Consult my sources. If it turns out one of my own is responsible, they will face justice. In the meantime, keep your deductions to yourself. I have enough trouble as it is. Deal. Good. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my family. And with that, Larson retreats to the elusive safety of his home. You decide it's best to move along. You walk a couple blocks in utter silence. Even D'Angelo's mumbling seems to have taken a back seat. Oddly enough, you find his newfound reticence somewhat unnerving. Finally, the Nosferatu stops and turns towards you. Hell of a night. I don't know about you, kid, but I sure could use a drink. Something warm, in a tall, sweaty glass. But first, let me tally your score. Let's see now. Yeah, not good. You did make a good first impression. I like someone who can talk themselves out of a tight spot. Talking's cheap. Bullets, not so much. You held your own at the crime scene. Nothing I hadn't figured out on my own, but hey, we can't all be professionals. Finally, when the situation called for subtlety, you managed to avoid unwanted attention. Discretion is what separates a private dick from just any old dick. Okay, so I think we did pretty well then. I thought I did bad at what's called, but I think because I got that first one all right. All in all, you did fine. Not fine, but not bad for your first case. Don't let it get to your head. Woo! I'll be in touch. Let you know if I hear from Larson. Convince D'Angelo to cooperate with you. Nice. If him from Larson, be ready to meet me at the office. He starts to walk away, but suddenly stops and turns back towards you. And bring a notepad. Every good assistant should have one. Alright. Almost daytime. Better have a sleep. Not long after you wake up tonight, Gregory knocks on the door of your apartment. We've never seen what Gregory actually looks like. Hey, I came to pick you up. Ms. Langley wants to see you. Do you know what she needs me for? What if I don't want to go? Ooh, well, my freedom was good while it lasted. Pardon me. Those last 2 nights were nice. I had freedom, initiative. Good while it lasted, I guess. He smiles apologetically. Don't shoot the messenger. The car's waiting. Shall we? You wrestle with the same thoughts as a few nights ago. Maybe you should just leave, disappear, let Sophie find someone else to reply. But then you remember the Enarch thug being cut down by Kadir and how close you were to the same fate, not even a week ago, and that it might still happen if you step out of line. You follow suit. As with your previous visit here, Sophie seems not entirely present when you enter. Her eyes are locked onto one of the paintings in the room. You're pretty sure it was here earlier, but she's behaving as if she's seeing it for the first time in her life, entirely entranced. Gregory clears his throat. Sophie turns to the both of you, a bit of irritation in her countenance that soon gives way to a pleasant warm smile. You're here. Excellent. Thank you, Gregory. Her driver leaves and she turns her attention to you. I hope you had a good few nights and made some new acquaintances, but I have to say, I'm happy to see you, Salem. Thank you for coming. The change in mood of the room is so sudden and startling. It makes you consider the true power of vampiric charisma. Rationally, you know you're being manipulated, but you don't even care. Her eyes, her motions, her entire body language all feel 100% genuine in expressing legitimate interest in you and your well-being. I have a request for you this night. I need you to find somebody for me and make a delivery. She points to the statue at the side of the room. You notice a plain-looking flash drive lying on the edge where the inanimate archer's bow touches the pedestal. The man you're looking for calls himself Kaiser. He has eyes and ears all over New York, and it's rare for something to happen here without his knowledge. I'll need you to take this flash drive and bring it to him. In exchange, he will give you an address, which I need to know as soon as possible. You're about to ask what's on the drive, but Sophie proves to be one step ahead of you. Oh, don't worry about the contents. They're encrypted, a precaution for if the data falls into the wrong hands. But it won't, correct? She gives you a smile that, just a handful of nights ago, would make you feel like melting. Oh, in Salem, Kaiser, 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 Kaiser. Kaiser is a Nosferatu, that twisted, deformed lineage of kindred. He is old, and his age has made him even more paranoid than others of his clan tend to be. He holds many havens and changes them often. From what I've gathered, he or one of his servants should be found at the park on Coney Island tonight. You'll have to identify them somehow. I'm told Kaiser has spent many of his nights these past few years being driven around the city in a black limo. Maybe keep an eye out for it. That smile again, but much softer, much shorter. Anything more on Kaiser? Why do you trade with Kaiser? Why don't you look for Kaiser yourself? Anything more on Kaiser? Anything more you can tell me about Kaiser? He's been here a long time, about as long as I have. He got into a lot of trouble for exchanging information with both the Enarchs and the Camarilla in the past, but ultimately got off scot-free. Kaiser's web of information proved to be strong enough to shield him from the consequences of playing both sides. Some say that's the best proof of his abilities. In any case, be careful when talking to him. He's very particular about everyone's etiquette except his own. Good night, and good luck. She flashes one last smile at you and turns back to the painting. Clearly done with the conversation, you pocket the flash drive and head out towards Coney Island. It takes you the better part of an hour to reach the lights and sounds of the Coney Island amusement park from the city. The drive is almost pleasant at this time of night. Thank God for Belt Parkway. There are plenty of people here tonight, but nobody stands out as a travelling purveyor of secrets. Then again, if they did stand out, it would be kind of pointless, right? Nothing to do but figure out the right approach. Ask around for Kaiser, search for signs of Kaiser, feeding opportunity. Homeless guy. That seems like it should be a safe one to feed. And it did say, feed every chance you have, except the one when we had the chance one last time because that guy had the dog and that would have been dangerous. So we'll go, and then yeah. Temporarily stumped, you feel frustration building inside. You've come to recognize what this is. Hunger, the beast ailing to indulge your vice and lash out. It has to be silenced. You take a short walk away from the lights and into one of the less frequently poor-lit areas, and you see if any options reveal themselves. One does. An older bum has settled himself in a small niche between two buildings and has begun loudly but incoherently praying. Hard to say who's he praying to, but he is entirely engrossed with you. He barely sees you coming, and you bite down, trying to ignore the smell of unwashed body and soiled blankets underneath. The taste is, hold up, that's familiar. Yeah. This guy's on a party pill, or two, or... You stop drinking. You feel woozy, but happy. The world spins a bit, then starts spinning the other way. You get it under control, and then you don't. You feel your thoughts scattering in all directions, every detail of your surroundings turning into a potential fascination, faraway lights and sounds composing a beautiful symphony. You bask in the afterglow of a successful feeding, feeling like you're on top of the world, superhuman, a master of the night, a god. A few tangents later, a stray thought saying, "This isn't good," breaks through the layers of noise inside your head, and you realize you've been standing in place for 15 minutes. And staring at you intently is a man with a gun in his hand. Oh, there he is. Stay put. There's someone who'd like to have a word with you. We're gonna wait for him right here. Who the flip are you? Who am I meeting? Rushed man. That doesn't sound like a good idea. Who am I meeting? Who's the guy I'm meeting? The words come out slurred, barely coherent. Somebody who's going to be pretty annoyed that you hunted in his domain, buddy. Gotta tell you, I'm not envious. The hum of a car engine and the soft screech of brakes reach your ears. The headlights of a black limo pierce the night. And there's the boss. Let's go. He motions towards the lights with his gun. You're coming to, finally in charge of your body, or at least you think so. The car's doors open, but nobody comes out. The stranger keeps motioning to the car. You hope it's the limo you expect. For a moment, you're pretty sure that what you see inside the car is just the bum's drugged blood kicking in from it. You're pretty sure that what you see inside the car is just the bum's drugged blood kicking in for an encore. There we go. The inside of the limo used to be a luxury lounge, the kind with a stripper pole and a bar full of alcohol. But it currently has none of that. Instead, there are monitors and consoles. There are dozens of displays, each one showing something different: surveillance camera footage, stock market quotes, television news, emails, tweets, silent movies, lo-fi footage of a gory torture session. Yeah. You wonder if the limo's owner can focus on anything while surrounded by all this visual noise, and then realize there's nobody there. Or is there? A man blinks into existence on a leather-covered couch, attempting to maintain something that approximates a regal presence. You're 100% sure it's Kaiser. Surrounded by dimly lit computer screens, his features are even more ghastly than you imagined, all sharp angles of twisted bone, mangled flesh, and crooked teeth. He bears them in an awful parody of a smile. The doors close behind you. Yeah, that's a bit more Nosferatu-y, yeah. So the waste of good blood outside tells me Sophie Langley sent you, huh? You've got something for me. You reluctantly pull the flash drive from your pocket and slowly pass it to Kaiser. He plugs it into a USB port in the arm of his chair and displays the data on one of the screens that happened to be turned away from you. It takes about a minute to access the data. Let me guess. This from Langley. She said she'd have something like this. You, her new flunky. You have to bite your tongue to keep from arguing with the word he chose, but you nod. He needs a voice. Who do you people think I am? I saw this footage a week ago. He removes the flash drive and throws it back at you in disgust. Tell Sophie the deal's off. She wants her address. She can give me something else. Ask him to give you a break. Ask how you can make it up to him. Ask him to take the deal. We'll try my presence. You take on the most persuasive voice and amicable stance you can in what basically constitutes the lair of a megalomaniac. We got closer. Maniacal. It's a maniac. Maniacal. Megalomaniacal. Monster. Come on, man. Don't send me back empty-handed. Take the data and honor the deal. It'd mean a lot to me. Oh, I don't think he's gonna care. The sound the Nosferatu produces is supposed to be laughter, you think. You're pretty sure he'll fall over and die at any second if it's anything other than that. Ooh, look at me, I'm so pretty and well-spoken. I'm gonna feed you this bollocks and you're gonna cram it in and ask for seconds. Who the flip do you think you are? You know what I should do to you for trying to pull that trick on me? I should mutilate your face and rub sulphur into the wounds, rip your tongue out and use it to stuff a flipping turkey. Only see, I'm in a gracious mood tonight. Plus, I hate turkeys, they disgust me. So I'm going to give you a chance to make this little transgression up to me. I'll contact you. Maybe I'll even throw in that stupid address so Langley can shove it inside of her. But right now, unless you want me to get really annoyed, you'll show yourself out. You're pretty sure you're done here. You get out, close the door behind you, and the car immediately starts backing up. The opaque windows slide past you, and soon the limo is on its way. Kaiser's lackey is nowhere to be seen, so you make your way to your car and drive back, wondering what tomorrow brings. Ooh. Oh, that was only half. Fantastic. Wah, wah. Oh, alright. It's been a while since you heard from D'Angelo. Maybe he's busy, sticking his nose where it doesn't belong, or maybe he's annoyed the wrong people, and is now rotting in a ditch somewhere. Either way, now's as good a time as any to check up on him. Really? They're ferals. Oh, that'd be too difficult, I think. When going to the what's called one that we've, lost now, was difficult enough. Those ones are considered ferals. So I think we'll go the magic one. Yeah. Bizarre powers of the Tremere. You arrive at the address given to you by Sophie, a small bookstore smack dab in the middle of Broadway, of all places. What really catches you off guard, though, is the store's display. From what you've heard about the Tremere, they are infamous for their ties to the occult and the mystical. And yet now, looking at the oddball collection of items in the display window, it all feels borderline satirical. The books here cover everything from Ayurvedic, It's an Indian thing, I'm pretty sure. Practices and homeopathy to wellness and self-motivation. The vaguely amusing juxtapositions don't end there either. You notice a copy of Anton LaVey's Satanic Bible tucked behind a cheap smiling Buddha. A scientific journal on hematology sits next to a teen-oriented pamphlet on the blood type personality theory. A number of religious and quasi-religious symbols, lockets, pins, and various emblazoned paraphernalia are haphazardly strewn across the display and between the tomes. Before you even open the door, you can smell the burning incense and hear the corny Far East tinged music seeping through the cracking speaker mounted above the entrance. It's much more quaint than what you expected from what Sophie told you about the so-called warlocks. It doesn't look like they have much interest in impressing outsiders. Then again, if there's anything you've learned these past few nights, it's that appearances can be deceiving. At this time of night, the shop appears to be closed. Regardless, you ring the bell. You hear someone shuffling around inside. A brief moment later, the latches slide and the door is pushed open just a few inches. A tired-looking blonde in loose clothes appears in the crack. She seems confused, like you just woke her up. She lets out a yawn, scratching at her tattooed neck. Finally, she squints in your general direction. Her pierced lip curves into an awkward smile. Is Agathon in? I'm here for a cult of vice. Got anything on vampires? Agathon in. I'm looking for a guy named Agathon. Is he around? The girl gives you a suspicious look over, then opens the door. She takes a few steps back, and you hear footsteps coming from behind a floral curtain that covers the back door. A bespectacled, smart-looking woman emerges and looks straight at you. Come in and follow me. Just don't touch anything, please. You follow her through the store. Inside, as expected, the stuffy air smells of sandalwood, frankincense, and a dozen other aromas. We've got sandalwood down here, down below, near my feet. A little 5-minute thingy of it. The woman leads you behind the curtain and through the back door onto a rickety staircase. A flight of steps takes you up to the second story. You instantly notice the change in decor, as the tacky new age bookstore gives way to something resembling a cross between a library and a workshop. Oh, that was my, whoops. I've accidentally hit the back thing with my leg. The smell here is strong, too, but much more layered. You're not sure what to make of it first, but with each whiff, it becomes apparent. Blood. The aroma, though subtle at first, soon becomes overpowering. It takes you a moment to adapt and focus. Ailing Strubridge. I don't think you know who you're speaking with, so an introduction is in order. My name is Ailing Strubridge, and I am the High Regent of the Chantry of the 5 Boroughs. You were Salem, correct? I have to say you're lucky the ward outside the building is only there for notifications tonight. Otherwise, it would have been quite unpleasant. To answer your question, Agathon is here, but he's hard at work and I wouldn't want to disturb him. Am I to understand this is a social visit? How do you know who I am? High Regent? Sounds important. Hiding above an occult bookstore, really? Wait, how do you know who I am? Well, for one thing, knowing who's who in the city is one of my duties as High Regent. But more importantly, you've been in the mind of many a kindred since Langley took you in. It's quite a precedent, as I'm sure you know, a first under Prince Panhard, and for Sophie to be the one to do it. Curiouser and curiouser. Still, I'm sure you haven't come to look for dirt on your sire. That would be unwise. Sophie mentioned Agathon to me. I was expecting I heard good things about Agathon. Sophie suggested I should meet Agathon. She said he's quite knowledgeable. Did she now? Ailing looks you up and down. Her countenance seems unchanged, but you can tell she's judging what you'd said. That's new. Suddenly a man enters from a side room. He doesn't even look at you, lost in his own thoughts. I have it, Ailing. I think I know how to find it. He catches himself as he notices you. His face turns sour. A visitor? Yes, we were just discussing you, in fact. Is that so? Sophie Langley recommended you. I'm looking for allies. Let me introduce myself. See, they keep saying every time I do this, they're like, oh, be careful. Maybe don't go name dropping her. So I'm like, oh, well, maybe. Let me introduce myself. My name is Samuel. I've been told you might be interested in teaming up. Teaming up? He looks very confused by the notion. What for? I could assist you in your work. For the company, what else? I could use your knowledge. I could assist you as well. I could assist you in your work. I can be quite helpful, knowing I can count on someone to... return the favor. Is that right? He seems to consider it, then turns to Ailing. High Regent, may I ask your advice on this? She looks you over as if judging your work. Fish, I did it again. Judge your worth. It takes her long enough to make you feel uncomfortable, but when she takes her eyes off you, she addresses Agathon. Do you feel like you need assistance in your task, my child? I'm confident I can do it on my own. He pauses, hesitating for a second. But I do believe it is important enough to warrant outside help, even if only for a single night. Another brief moment of hesitation. Of course, the details will remain between you and I, sire. Agreed, on all points. Why don't you start by giving our intern here a brief explanation of what it is you're after? Agathon gives Ailing a hesitant look, but the woman nods approvingly. Encouraged, he turns towards you. A member of our clan disappeared without a trace a handful of nights ago. While the High Regent investigates if any foul play was involved, I have been tasked with recovering her research notes, if there is anything left to recover, that is. I may have an idea where to start, and I suppose this is where you come in. If you truly wish to help, I could use your assistance tonight, right now in fact. Given the time we've just wasted on idle chatter, I should leave immediately. What's the rush? Who's the missing person? And the missing kindred, who is she? Single glance at Ailing is enough. You can tell you're not getting an answer, at least for now. We're after her research. That's what you should focus on. These people aren't in the habit of making things simple. Facing layers upon layers of secrecy, you can only hope that what lies beneath is the real deal. I'm heading out. Are you coming or not? Sure, I'll join you. I need some more info besides that. On second thought, no interest. Yeah, I'll join. Sure, I'll join you. Very well. He gives Ailing a slight bow. High Regent, with your permission, she nods. Before you go, however, Salem, defer to Agathon in all things. Our clan values obedience above everything else. Prove you can follow, and this might turn into a mutually beneficial relationship. I will await his return and his report. Good luck, my child. Agathon bows again and heads out, urging you to follow. The High Regent watches you leave. Outside, Agathon leads you to his car. It's always funny seeing him get in behind the wheel. Yeah. Somehow you'd expect a more mystical sense of means of transportation. The drive south leading to the lower east side, Agathon seems lost in thought. Either that, or he's a very careful driver. Either way, several minutes pass in silence. So where are we going? So the High Regent is your sire. Where are we going? So where are we going? Williamsburg. There's a place there that our missing colleague frequented. He seems to be thinking of the right words before he decides to address you again. Let me ask you something. Why me? There's likely a couple hundred of us kindred in New York, yet you seek me out specifically. Why? Sophie spoke highly of you, yeah. For one, Sophie spoke highly of you. She gave me a short list of people to meet. You were on it. I see. Once more, he grows silent. You're unsure whether to continue prying, as your driver seems to disappear into his thoughts. You drive into Williamsburg and stop by a fancy-looking restaurant. We're here. There's a restaurant on the top floor. You wanted to help, so here's your chance. I need you to get us inside of the VIP lobby. Once we're in, I need about half an hour of focus and some space. It'll be up to you to keep attention away from me. From me? From the room. Can you do it? He doesn't wait for an answer and points to the front door. Go ahead. I'll be right behind you. The two of you take the elevator up to the restaurant. The doors open and you see that there are only a few guests left. Sitting at their tables, an important-looking staff member approaches you. I'm starting to doze off. Good evening. I'm very sorry, but the restaurant is closing for the night. I can take a reservation for next week if you wish. We're location scouting. I'm the special kind of client. No, I think we can get in now. We're special clients, if you know what I mean. I don't think I do. Apologies, but it's company policy. No exceptions. Would you like to make a reservation? Come on, man. Give us a break. This is an outrage. It's fine. We can come in. It's fine. Hey, it's all good. We can come in. We'll be in the VIP lobby. It won't take long. The man blinks. A confused smile appears on his face. Yes, of course. No problem. Please, come right in. You walk in trying to look casual and make your way towards the VIP room. You step inside you step inside and close the door behind you. Jeez. It's a nice place, very highbrow, lots of old expensive looking furniture and private rooms to discuss any sordid business one discusses when you're that rich. Your companion looks at you with something akin to admiration, or at least that's what you chose to interpret the slight change in his visual facade. Not bad at all. He inspects the room. It's usually cold, and Agathon soon discovers why. Looking behind the curtain, the window hangs open. The handle and lock look like they've been dissolved, as if with acid. Ooh. Gosh darn it, Juno. What's with the window? What happened to the window? Somebody broke in. I think I know who. He takes a frantic look around the room. This changes things. Keep an eye on the door. I'll need some time. Half an hour at the very least. Nobody disturbs me. Understand? He hastily pushes a couch and some potted plants out of the way, moves a bar stool and takes out a curved knife, cutting into his own arm. He lets some of his blood drip onto the wooden floor. It's pretty messed up the way his flesh oozes the deep red, thick vitae. In life, you'd have found it stomach churning, but right now you feel weirdly turned on by the sight. What follows is more disturbing yet. With one hand, he unsheaths the knife and seals the wound. With the other, he smears the blood around him while muttering some weird chant. It sounds vaguely Latin, but you're pretty sure it isn't. It's all more than a little discerning. But he seems to know what he's doing. A few moments later, the circle starts glowing faintly as thin wisps of smoke surround Agathon. He sits down in the middle, legs crossed, eyes closed. Minutes pass. Dimitri's whole thing only took like 8 minutes, I think, whereas mine was like 6 or 7. Agathon's face twitches from time to time, and his head turns every now and then, as if he was looking around or listening to recognizable music. Conversation. But recognizable? There's no recognizable. Listening in on a conversation. Jeez, I'm getting real tired. The smoke grows thicker, forming a veil around the mage. You expected something more flashy, but it's still a sight to behold. You wonder what the point of it is, but refrain from asking. It's probably best to let Agathon do his thing. For close to 30 minutes, you're left to your own devices, then suddenly the door opens slightly and the manager leans into the room. You tense up for a second, but he just gives you an awkward smile. Anything you need? You shoo him away before he can take a closer look at your companion, and he retreats obediently. 2 minutes later, Agathon casually gets up off the floor and walks over to the sofa. He pushes his hand in between the cracks in the upholstery and fishes something out. He then turns to you and nods. We're done here, let's go. You make your way back to the elevator, passing the manager on your way. He gives you a slight, somewhat confused smile. But neither him nor any of his guests get in your way. Despite that, the elevator ride down feels tense, and the two of you only relax once inside Agathon's car. He starts the engine and takes a ride right at the Continental Armor Plaza back onto the bridge. Ugh, it's getting very difficult to read as well. You're just about to say something, but he beats you to it. That went better than I expected, all things considered. It might have been a trick of the light, but you're pretty sure you just saw him smile. I'm used to working alone, but what I'm dealing with right now, it might frequent Wow, it might require some more assistance. And you seem capable enough. Thanks, I guess. Find what you came for? I can do more, you know. Gee, thanks. I take it that's your way of showering me with praise. You could answer, you could swear you just made him smirk. You did fine. Once you really impress me, I'll be sure to let you know. Oh yeah, enchanted to meet you. Another achievement. It doesn't take long for you to reach the water's work. Agathon waves at you absent-mindedly, once again lost in his thoughts. Hopelessly so. One of these nights you should probably take him up on his offer. Who knows, if you gain his trust, maybe you can actually break through his stoic facade and meet the man underneath. There we go. We're ready for the night. Let's get our rest in. Oh. Walking down the street towards your haven. In some other town, the sidewalks would be deserted. This time of night in New York City, there are plenty of passers-by going about their business. It's easy to be paranoid when you're a vampire surrounded by controlled humans. The kindred have many enemies, and all those enemies have one trait in common. They're invisible. This indistinguishable from male humanity. Normal humanity. Other vampires, hunters, all look like people. If that old man just tried a restaurant, is that old man just a tired restaurant worker or a kindred thrall tailing your movements? Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car, or in a patrol car, ordinary cops, or a second Inquisition specialist looking like they're something? Ugh. Are the officers idly waiting in a patrol car, ordinary cops, or second Inquisition specialists looking to end undead treaties? There we go. This kind of thinking leads to madness, but you can't shake the feeling that someone is watching you. It's not the first time you've felt like this. Whatever this is, it's probably something you have to take care of. Best case, someone is tailing you. Worst case, you'll be kicked. You'll be attacked and killed. My eyesight is so flippin' tired. Wow. Unfortunately, being undead has its limitations. The sun is coming up soon, and you'll burn to a crisp if you stay on the streets. You reach your haven and settle in for the day, disconcerted by the idea that someone might know where you sleep. Ugh. Alright, there. Whew. As you wake from slumber, emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street, standing on the corner and looking straight at you. Save and quit. I'm going to leave it paused, and I'm going to go for a break, because it's been 2.5 hours, and it is currently 6:30 a.m. Oh, boy. My throat, my eyes. Throat's not too bad. But yeah, anyway, I'm going to go for a very shortish, quick break, and then I'll return, and we'll do a little bit more. We won't do too much more, because I'm falling asleep here all of a sudden. But yeah, don't touch that dial, change that channel. I will return somewhat shortly. I can't even remember the words I've said. I'm getting very tired. I'll be right back. I won't be gone too long. Unless I fall asleep, but I shouldn't. I'll just not sit down until I get back. I'm back. I didn't fall asleep. Okay. We'll go through maybe another one. Depending, another 1 or 2 more nights. Roughly. Or yeah, depending on how long they go for. We'll aim for around 2. No more than 3 nights. Pardon me. But yeah. Alright. Add something to nibble on. Corn chip and a drink. And now I'm like, what have I done? What have I done for the past, like, I don't know, however long? I don't remember. I went to the church place. And there was that guy. I went to the Nosferatu one. And then I went to the blood one, I think. It's very hazy on what's just been happening the past 40 minutes or so with that blood one. But yes, now we've gone back, we went to sleep, and now we're waking up. As you wake from your slumber and emerge from your haven for the night, you notice a familiar face on the other side of the street standing on the corner, looking straight at you. It's Kayser's lackey whom you met recently, Jackie. He nods to you, encouraging you to approach. That was the shark tooth guy. His hands are outside of his pockets, and he seems pretty relaxed. He's keeping his eyes on the street, though, as if making sure you're alone. He smiles awkwardly when you approach. Evening. Got something for you from our mutual friend. He produces a crumpled piece of paper from his jacket pocket and hands it to you. Read it, memorize it, then give it back here. It's a letter. The paper might be just a page ripped out of a spiral notebook, but the writing on it is exquisitely detailed and deliberate. It reads, "Time to square your debt with me. Go to the wine shop at 232 Mulberry Street and ask for the 1221 Special Reserve Donatello Negroamaro." Where've I got a thing? Just in case there's multiple options, I've got to write a thing down. 232 Mulberry. And it is the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello. Gotcha. Alright. So we're all safe, just in case. When they tell you they don't have it, say you are a fidel servitor della famiglia G. Those exact flippin' words, and make sure you get the G right. You'll get a bottle. Just take it and leave by saying grazie. I need to write that. I'd be able to grazie. Be able to remember that, but you know. Don't ask how much it is or anything. Just walk out. When you have it, come back to Jackie boy here and let him know. You done? Memorize that stuff and hand it over. What's the rush, buddy? What's with all this cloak and dagger nonsense? Didn't think your boss was a leather guy. Letters, passwords, what's with all this cloak and dagger nonsense? That's how the boss likes it. And who am I to argue? I just do what he says. You about done with the letter? You note the phrases and addresses mentioned in the letter. Whew. And then hand it back to Jackie. He immediately reaches for a lighter and burns the letter, putting out the ashes with his boot. So yeah, when you do what the boss asks, come back here so I can tell you where to go next. I'll be in that alley over there, so find me when you have the item, whatever it is. I don't know, and the boss made it extra clear that I shouldn't care, so I don't. See ya. He shuffles away and leaves you to pursue the lead from the letter. Time to pay a visit to Nolita. You arrive at the address mentioned in the note. Not counting local restaurant patrons, the street is almost empty at this time of night, but curiously, the wine shop is still open. Inside, a small middle-aged man with curly hair stands behind the counter in front of a wall filled with wine bottles. There's a door at the back of the room with a small table and chair, occupied by a man in a black faux leather jacket with slick combed back hair. He's reading a newspaper but pauses as a little bell rings when you open the door. He takes a sip from a small steaming cup, then gets back to his broadcast. The proprietor. Good evening. How can I help you? Be direct. Chat her up. Tell her a friend sent you. Just be direct. I would like a bottle of the 1821 Special Reserve Donatello Negroamaro, please. Let me check our stock. She seems to be looking through a database on the laptop sitting on the counter. She puts on a polite smile. I'm afraid we don't have that one at the moment, sorry. Recite the phrase straight and simple. Casually recite the phrase and reassure her. Now we'll just go straight and simple. I'm a fedele servitore della famiglia G. Yeah, that's right. Ah, in that case, let me see if we have any in the back. Wait here, please. The woman leaves the counter and goes through the doors in the back. The man by the table puts down his newspaper and takes another sip from the cup, washing it down with a gulp of water from the nearby glass. He tries to hide it, but there's no doubt he's watching you. About a minute passes. Remain silent and wait. Chat the guy up. Borrow the guy's newspaper. You remind yourself of what Kaiser wrote in the note and keep quiet, patiently awaiting for the woman to return from the back of the store. The man finishes his drink and starts doodling on the newspaper, his eyes darting to you every so often. The doors to the back of the store open and the proprietor emerges with a small, unlabeled squat bottle of crimson liquid. She gives you an apologetic smile. Scusi. Sorry for taking so long. Turns out we did have it. She offers you the bottle and you reach out to grab it, but she retracts it. You do know what this is, don't you? Why, it's wine, of course. You focus your blood and immediately see both of the people in the shop focus intently in on you and what you're about to do. I know exactly what this is, and I'm the right person to give it to. The woman gives you the bottle without hesitation. Grazie. Deciding you've pushed your luck far enough, you nod and exit the store, then take a brisk walk to your car. Nobody follows you as you leave. No litter, and drive back to your apartment. It takes you some time to find a parking spot, but you finally get out of the car, start looking for Jackie. He's not far from where you parted ways just under 2 hours ago. Got the goods? Sure do. Cool. Stand by. Gotta make the call. Takes a few more steps into a narrow space between two buildings, takes out the same high-tech phone you saw him carrying last time. Hey boss, yeah, they have it. Where do I point them to? Okay, yeah, I'll tell them to go there right away. He puts the phone back in his pocket and turns back to you. Willets Point, half an hour. So you best step on it. See you around. With only a flippant salute, Jackie starts walking down the street. You make your way back to your car and drive. You had to push the speed limit to make it on time, but you're here. Willets Point is quite a change of scenery. The place is a post-industrial dump, the nearby stadium notwithstanding. You stop your car once you realize that if you go any further down, the potholes will kill your chassis. You step out into one of those gashes in the asphalt, splashing in the ankle-deep water. Kaysalim is nowhere to be seen. In fact, the whole place is pretty much deserted other than the apparent proprietor of a lonely bar, a middle-aged woman who's just locking the place up. Feeding opportunity. This is too perfect an opportunity to not take advantage of. She's walking to her car, ready to call it a night when you sneak up on her. She's far too tired to resist your strong hold and swift bite. You can taste the caffeine in her veins, smell the cheap cigarettes in her hair, the old cooking grease in her clothes. She passes out. Your assault, the closing note of a long day at work. You let her down gently and feel a pang of remorse. You pick up the car keys she dropped and place her in the driver's seat. She'll find an explanation for passing out. Like this, for sure. The bright lights of a car pulling over down the road illuminate you as you close the door. It's a black limo. Kaiser is finally here, it would seem. Same as last time, the car doors open but nobody comes out. You know the drill. This time Kaiser is visible when you look inside. You sit down and close the door behind you. So, you pulled it off without a hitch then. Give it here. You hand the bottle over to Nosferatu. He uncorks it quickly, takes a swift and puts the cork back in. Yeah, that's the stuff. I can see you're useful beyond your charm with the subtlety of a battering ram. Good to know. Here's Langley's precious address. He passes you an envelope with what feels like a thick card inside. Thank you, Mr. Kaiser. Yeah, I'll send Jackie over if I ever need anything else from you. How about that? Time for you to get out now. He waves you out of the car with the envelope in hand. You get out back onto the torn asphalt. In decrepit surroundings, the limo slowly drives away. Finally, you can return to Sophie and bring her what she wanted. Gregory lets you in. You hear a shrill, unpleasant laugh, and you realize Sophie's having a guest over. He's the man from Elysium, the one with the glasses and good taste in suits. You didn't have the chance. There's no space there, should be space. To talk to him last time you saw him. Ah, Salem, so good to have you. Tell me, did the two of you previously meet? The man doesn't wait for an answer. He approaches you with an energetic, almost dance-like step and puts out his hand. Thomas Arturo, I've heard about you. Pleasure. Thomas is a great source of gossip and an excellent conversationalist. I also have the prince's ear, which is the primary reason dear Miss Langley wished to speak to me tonight. Good gossip, even coming from me, isn't nearly as valued. Sad. Sophie is taken aback by the man's direct comment, but smiles politely. The awkward atmosphere is broken again by the guest's grating laugh. I kid, of course, I kid. Well, I was about to leave anyway, so I'll leave you to it. Good night, Sophie, Salem, Greggy boy. Sophie's driver opens the door for Arturo, and the guest steps out with a single wave of the hand towards his host and you. The door closes. Whoops. What's his deal? What a creep. He's quite the character, isn't he? Quite the character, isn't he? Yes, quite, but he has his uses. Thomas has clout in court and access to many juicy details on everyone from the prince to the lowliest primogen. It's useful to have him on your side, even if his eccentricity requires some patience. Speaking of patience, you have been putting mine to the test lately. Did you manage to contact Kaiser and acquire what I asked for? Yes, but I had to do another job for him first. I have it, sorry for the wait. I do have it. He gave me this card. Apologies for keeping you waiting. She retrieves the envelope from you. What's important is that you have it. Did he give you trouble? I had to deal with his servant. I had to retrieve a bottle for him. He's just a huge prick. I had to retrieve a bottle for him. He made me go to an entirely separate escapade to retrieve a bottle of wine from a store in Nolita. I had to use code phrases and whatnot. Wine shop, code phrases. That degenerate pest. She's visibly agitated but calms down and smiles at you. Don't worry about it. I'll make sure that whatever Kaiser had you do, it'll blow over. She opens the envelope and looks at the card. You notice the same lettering you saw in Kaiser's note from before, but can't see the details. Your eyes widen. Yes, excellent. I need to call in some favors. I will likely be busy for the next few nights. You have my permission to show some initiative, my dear Charge. I will contact you soon. With that, Sophie ushers you outside and you are left to do with the rest of the night's hours as you like. Okay, that's an interesting one. Somebody's watching me. I wouldn't mind checking up on him. Do you know the notes? You find the mystery of Agathon's research tantalizing enough to pay him a visit. Alright, we'll head back over to Angelo. You make your way through the now familiar rusty maze of the grain terminal and up the stairs to D'Angelo's office. This time, however, you find the room firmly locked. There's a note pinned to the door. You rip it off and scan the crooked lettering. There's been another one at the scene now. Come to Bed-Stuy, corner of Pulaski and Garvey, ASAP. Looks like Angelo could use your help. Better get going. As you approach the address D'Angelo gave you, the squad car passes you by, sirens blaring. Following it, you take a turn from DeKalb Avenue onto Pulaski Street. Sure enough, the street is awash with red light and the 4 or so police cars parked on the nearest corner next to an ambulance confirm that you're in the right place. You move closer to what appears to be a New York's finest convention, looking around in the hopes of spotting a familiar, not altogether pleasant face. No such luck. True to his Nosferatu lineage, D'Angelo is nowhere to be seen. You stop on the sidewalk across the street, trying not to draw attention to yourself. All of a sudden, one of the cops standing at the entrance of the building looks straight at you. He does a double take and you instinctively look away. Bad move, you think to yourself, as you notice him making his way toward you. Calmly wait for him to approach. Not allowing panic to set in, you stand your ground, doing your best ordinary citizen impression. The cop waddles across the street towards you, his sense of authority putting that extra spring in his step. You try to remain calm, even as he puts his hand on his holster. Flip. You can't help but mouth the word. This is about to get messy. Suddenly he stops, as if instinctively realizing that he was just inches away from a grisly demise. He waves at you dismissively and yells in a thick Brooklyn accent. Hey, this here's an active crime scene. Be on your way. Relieved by trying not to show it, you put on your grumpy New Yorker face and start to walk away. As you make your way past a dark alley, someone grabs you by the arm and pulls you into the shadows. If the smell of cigars and cheap cologne don't give him away, the gravelly voice sure does. Nice save. I mean, dumb to show your face around here in the first place, but still. Come on, I'm parked around the corner. Before you know it, you're sitting in the passenger seat of a busted old sedan parked half a block away, giving you a nice view of the police gathering. Big opportunity. We could take him. Let me talk to him. Okay, see? Do your shadowy, skulky thing. Why don't I talk to them? I might convince them to let us in. He gives you a look as if you just let rip. Right. Look, kid, it's not that I don't trust you, but how about we give that raw animal magnetism of yours a dry run, huh? Pretend I'm one of the cops guarding the entrance. Convince me to let you in. I'll pose as a detective. No, because they don't like that. Pose as a tenant. Evening, officers. I live here. Is there a problem? Yeah, this here's an active crime scene. Be on your way. But, hey, it's your behind against mine. Get lost. I'll be fine. Trust me, I'll think of something. Fair enough. Go get him, Tiger. I'll stay close, but I'll stay close by just in case things go south. You get out of the car, slamming the door a bit too loudly for your own good. As you cross the street, you already feel like you've made a big mistake. Oh well, too late to back out now. Might as well give it your best shot. As you approach the cops, your whole body tenses up. It's funny that this would make you nervous considering all you've seen these past few nights, and yet it does. Two officers seem to be engaged in a heated debate regarding last night's Mets game. You stop a few steps away and open your mouth. Whatever's about to come out, it better be good. Ladies and gentlemen, Detective Kowalski. Hey, I live here. Is there a problem? Make the officers let you in. Yeah, okay, we'll try it. And then, just as you're about to weasel your way into their unsuspecting minds, you freeze. One of the cops notices you and gives you a slight nod. Yeah, hey, if you're going in, make sure you stay away from 209, active crime scene, you know. And with that, they get back to arguing whether or not the umpire was bought and paid for. Or not. Utterly confused, you piece together what's left of your senses and hurry past them. Inside the building, D'Angelo stands in the hallway, dumbfounded. As you open your mouth, he stops you with a gesture. Don't even talk to me right now. In awkward silence, you both make your way up to the second floor. Finding the crime scene proves easy enough. You just follow the yellow police tape, and before you know it, you're standing in the middle of what used to be someone's living room. The place has been completely thrashed. Knocked over, furniture, shattered glass, the works. Looking around, you notice a sign scribbled on a nearby wall. It reads, "His gift, our fate." You're no expert in typography, but the crooked letters look similar to the ones you saw back in Red Hook. Sure enough, there's very little in terms of blood, save for the occasional stain that's bound to end up on the carpet once you toss someone through a glass coffee table. D'Angelo leans against the doorway. He seems lost in his thoughts, sucking on his cigar compulsively and mumbling to himself. You lean over a bit, trying not to make it obvious that you're listening in. You manage to catch the last few lines of his monologue. The night's been kind to them so far, but the questions keep piling on, and they've found themselves amidst the wreckage of another life. It was up to them to sift through the debris and come up with a neat little pile of answers. Suddenly, he tenses up, as if sensing your eyes upon him. Feel free to chip in, kid. Anything catch your eye? Another piece of Grady. No blood, same as before. No blood, same as before. No blood, same as before. At least none spilled, so what does that tell us? Might be the kindred we're after. Someone cleaned the place up. That this was a feeding, that the killer is kindred might be the one we're after. Might doesn't make right. Let's not make assumptions until we see the body. Still, the pattern is consistent. Gosh darn it, I hate where this is going. Which is? Me being right about thin blood involvement, I mean. Anyway, looks like we're not getting any more out of this place. No way around it, we gotta see the body. Are you protecting thin bloods? Sure, might as well be prudent. In for a penny, in for a pound, might as well be prudent. My thoughts exactly. The Duskborn have it bad as it is. I'm going to accuse one of them of breaching the Masquerade. I want solid evidence. I mean, rock flippin' solid. Luckily for us, I might know someone who can get us an audience with our dearly departed. To your surprise, he pulls out a cell phone, a busted old clamshell. He flips it open and spends a good minute browsing through the contacts, muttering to himself. Finally, he makes a call. Hey, you know who this is? Yeah, the favor you owe me. Time to deliver. Listen, I know you got a fresh one. The murder in Bed-Stuy. I need to take a look. Yes, now. Yeah, you better. With that, he hangs up and gives you his trademark riot smile. Aren't cell phones forbidden? Wait, aren't cell phones an issue for the Camarilla? Only if you tell them. Look, kid, I don't use it willy-nilly, alright? It's for special occasions. You don't always have time to throw flipping rocks at windows. Can you live with that, or should I worry about being sent to the principal's office? I'm not gonna rat on you. Relax, D. I'm not gonna rat on you. He shoots you a smile. For some reason, it seems less crooked than usual. Good to know, kid. Anyway, looks like my guy is gonna come through. Next stop, King's Country. King's Country, the bleeding heart of Brooklyn. It's beating as hard as ever, with ambulance after ambulance bringing in sick and wounded New Yorkers to be pumped through the tight arteries of the healthcare system. It's a dangerous place for a kindred to show their face. Incessantly crowded and full of people who specialize in noticing all sorts of physical afflictions, especially the sort that make up the very essence of a vampire's existence, for instance, death. Thankfully, your business here tonight keeps you away from the heretic human hive of the ER. Instead, you follow D'Angelo to a relatively quiet part of the underground parking lot that's closest to your current point. Interest, the Kings County Montaigne. Having found yourself a convenient, suitably unlit spot near the hospital wall, you wait patiently for D'Angelo's contact to appear. Every now and then, you glance over at the undead gumshoe, as if to make sure his moldy mug isn't showing any signs of worry. Or at least he's very good at hiding it. Finally, after 30 minutes or so, a lone figure emerges from a side entrance. As the human-shaped shadow walks by, you're quick to recognize him as the EMT you saw back at the murder site. Clearly nervous, the 20-something-year-old redhead can't seem to help but look back and make sure no one is following him. Finally, he stops and lights up a cigarette without even looking in your direction. He takes a puff and exclaims, seemingly to no one in particular, room 112, you got 20 minutes. What? D'Angelo speaks without looking at you. That's our cue. You follow the fanged detective through the same door the EMT walked out of. Luckily, the wings of the hospital seem unusually empty. Still, the confidence with which D'Angelo makes his way through the white and green corridors makes it clear he's been here before. Finally, he stops in front of one of the doors, room 112. That's your stop. The room is small, with only one oversized freezer by the wall and a single slab mounted in the center. Sure enough, the body of a middle-aged man is splayed out on its steel surface. I assume it's done. Even for a dead man, he seems unnaturally pale. Extreme blood loss will do that too. Try as you might, you can't help but look at the man's face. His features twisted in abject horror. This was not a peaceful death. Looking closely, you notice two small puncture wounds on the victim's neck. If ever there was a clearer sign of a vampire, Mac, now you've seen to it. Now you've yet to see it. Looking over at D'Angelo, you notice his lips moving in a familiar fashion. He's narrating again. Before he can utter an intelligible word, you cut it with a remark. Suck dry, just like the last one. Are those teeth marks? Look at his face. Suck dry, just like the last one. Suck dry, just like the last one. Yeah, I'm guessing you used the last teeth marks as well. Points at two barely visible marks on the victim's neck. Dead giveaway. Flip. Also, if on cue the door swings open, a tired-looking man with a stethoscope around his neck walks in with his eyes fixed on clipboard. He doesn't appear to be noticing you. Feeding? No. Hide behind the freezer? Lie your way out. Maybe. We'll try it. Feed him. Letting your instincts take over, you pounce on the unsuspecting doctor, plunging your fangs into his hip. The precious liquid tastes sickeningly sweet, making you feel a bit lightheaded. It appears the good doctor has been getting high on his own supply. It takes you a moment to get your fill, but when you're finally done, you immediately feel D'Angelo's eyes on you. You start coming up with an excuse, but he just smirks. You're quick, kid. I'll give you that. Beat me to it by a pube. Now, come on, let's get out of here. Time to pay our dear Primogen another visit. Robert Larson's home looks about the same as last time. No added security, no angry dogs prowling the yard. It appears that the thin-blood Primogen would rather risk another night from his old pal D'Angelo than to arouse suspicion of his family and neighbours. Which is good considering that's what he's about to get. Sure enough, the light in Larson's study is on, and you even catch a glimpse of the man himself shuffling around the room. You look over to D'Angelo, wondering how he's going to get Larson's attention this time. Without a single word, D'Angelo walks over to a nearby street lamp and leans against it, making sure he's visible to any and all who happen to look. Looks like time for subtlety. It only takes a couple minutes for Larson to take notice. You see him lean against the window and storm out of the room. In mere seconds, he's out in the front. He's out in the front and in D'Angelo's face. Oh, it was difficult. Alright. Listen to me, you moldy flip. I've had just about enough of your stuff. You want to pester me? Fine, but leave my family out of it. For a moment, D'Angelo just stands there motionless, allowing Larson to get his frustration out. Suddenly, he grabs the thin blood by the collar, lifts him off the ground, and smashes him back against the lamppost. You finished? All right. Now you listen to me and listen good. You think I'm enjoying this? You think I'd like to be jerked around? You think I've got nothing better to do than hang around this little puppet theater you've made for yourself? I mean, now, either you give me a lead I can follow, or I start remembering things you'd rather forget. For the first time since you met him, Larson looks speechless, his eyes wide with fear. He can only mutter under his breath. You wouldn't dare. Try me. Cue awkward silence. You stand there, shifting your eyes from one vampire to the other. Guess it's time to either press the advantage or play the good cop. Ah. Come on, Larson, spit it out. Take it easy, D'Angelo. Let's all just calm down. Take it easy, D'Angelo. Let's not make a scene. Why not? I like making a scene. It's not like we're getting stuff done. Might as well make a show of it. If you want my help, put me the flip down. With his feet back on the ground, Larson straightens his collar in a faint attempt at preserving some shred of dignity. There's a place in Manhattan, Lower East Side, one of the few places in the city where my people can find shelter. Yeah, I know it. If you go there right now, you might find what you're looking for. D'Angelo stares at him for a moment, just long enough to make it uncomfortable. We'd better. Finally, D'Angelo loosens his grip. You both watch Larson limp back to his house, looking back over his shoulder like he's going to tell the teacher on you. You look to your partner, meaning to ask what that note things you'd rather forget, deal was. As if sensing your curiosity, D'Angelo cuts in with a preemptive mutter. Come on, we got what we came for. As you reach the address Larson gave you, you find yourself standing in front of what looks like an old garage. On the outside, the place looks as uninteresting as it gets. You'd think it abandoned if not for the few barely working lights illuminating its shabby facade. Once you're inside, however, if ever there was a place worthy of being called a wretched hive of scum and villainy, this is probably it. The room is littered with drunks and crackheads, human and thin bloods alike. Their moods, their minds, lost in their cruel little worlds, their bodies splayed out across the floor. D'Angelo leans over and whispers in your ear. I'll cover the back door. You stay near the front. Let's look around and see what we can find. Before you can ask what exactly you're supposed to do, you're supposed to be looking for, D'Angelo appears in the shadows. And there's a guide thingy. What? There's a guide thingy. Look around quietly. Try to flush the killer out. Ooh. Doing your best to blend in with the crowd, which is fairly difficult considering your upright position, you slowly make your way across the large room. Not really looking where you're going, you focus on the details, a knowing smirk, a hateful stare, anything that looks even the slightest bit suspicious. After a dozen or so stares, you're almost ready to give up, when suddenly something catches your eye. Ooh. A young, skinny woman hunched over in the corner of the room. She gives you a bewildered look, a 1,000-yard stare that tells you, beyond a shadow of a doubt, it's her. As you walk towards her, D'Angelo emerges from the shadows right next to you. Nice catch. He kneels down beside her. You can tell he's trying to sound as comforting as possible, but with his gravelly tone, with his gravelly timbre, it's not really working out. Hey, it's okay. We're not here to hurt you. Just want to talk. No, don't talk. Too loud, too loud. She seems halfway out of it. It's like the lights are on, but whoever's inside is stumbling around after one hell of a bender. Alright, like white, got it. Can you tell me your name? Sana. That's what he called me. Suddenly you could hear the door swing open behind you. Even though the night still is fairly warm, a cold chill runs down your spine. You look towards the entrance, there's a woman standing there, and something about her just screams, kidnapped. Even though she seems comically overdressed for the situation, somehow you don't feel like cracking a smile. Whoever she is, you can tell she means business. She starts making her way to the back of the room, not making any effort to sidestep any of the junkies and drunks. They all know well enough to keep out of her way. Acting out bravery or sheer stupidity, you walk up to her. She looks at you as if you were something she just scraped off her shoe. You smile nervously without even knowing it. Hello there, and who might you be? Hey, what's a girl like you doing in a place like this? Hold it, what's your business here? As soon as you open your mouth, her hand shoots out, grabbing you by the throat. Whoa. The woman looks at you, tilting her head as if examining a curious species of insect. Suddenly her eyes shift as she notices something behind you. Her face turns from disgusted curiosity to sheer annoyance. You. Wait. Is that the lady that's on the front? No. She looks familiar, this one, though. That's not our sire. Hey, Val. That's my assistant you got there. Do you mind? She rolls her eyes. You feel the grip on your neck loosen and you awkwardly fall to your feet. She makes her way towards D'Angelo, pushing you aside like a rag doll. Where is she? You're gonna have to be a bit more specific, darling. Don't play coy, Ginny. The manslayer. I know she's here. A blood hunt has begun. By order of the prince herself, the girl is to meet her final death. Hold your horses, honey. I'm conducting an investigation under the auspices of the sheriff. That counts for something. No? 2? That counts for something, too. Look, sweetie, I'm not here for some measuring contest. You want this to get ugly by being my guest, otherwise I suggest you step aside and let me do my job. By all means. He steps aside in a comically exaggerated fashion. You look at the corner where you last saved... What? You look at the corner where you last saw Sana, but find no trace of the girl. Well, I'll be. I could swear she was just here. Valerie looks at D'Angelo. She smiles softly, but you can tell she's trying very hard not to rip his head off. You'll regret this. Story of my life. Without another word, she turns on her heels and storms out. D'Angelo waves his hand in your general direction. Come on, kid, let's get out of this terrible place. As you emerge from said terrible place, you feel the cool night breeze caress your face. It's soothing and almost makes you forget how bad the last few hours have been, almost. Okay, kid, I know you've got questions, but it's getting early and I don't feel like having a Q&A session right now. For now, you get one question. Make it count. Who the flip is Valerie? Do you know where the girl went? What do we do now? Do you know where the girl went? Who the flip is Valerie? What do we do now? Our perp's gone and now we're on some psycho chick's bad list. What the flip do we do now? Well, the good news is that we know who we're looking for. The bad news, Valerie knows it as well. She's a scourge kid, part enforcer, part assassin, all around pain in the behind. We'll be seeing more of her. You can bet on that. Before you ask, yes, we've run into each other in the past. No, I don't feel like talking about it. Alright, kid, I don't know. I don't know about you, but I'm turning. I'll figure some stuff out and keep looking for our girl. Feel free to swing by the office in a night or two. And with that, he stumbles off into the distance, not even bothering to keep to the shadows. Can't say you blame him. It really has been a rough night. Oof, yeah. And we rest. Oh, wow. That was like, what, 2? Almost? Alright. Ooh. Strange bedfellows. If you leave your home, a homeless man bumps into you, turn after him, but he blends into the crowd before you can even get a good look at his face. Instinctively, you check your pocket, a note. Looking at Bridge, come over. Alright, well, he's better with that one. With the writing. Noisy Reporter Part 1. There's a sleazy reporter from a gossip magazine sniffing around Sophie's haven. She could use your help with the problem. Somebody's watching. And that one. Next thing. But I'm falling asleep. I'm saying the wrong words. I'm reading the wrong words. Oh boy. So we're gonna have to call it there. Plus it's like actually pretty light out now. And it's like 7:30, yeah, AM. Oh. Yeah, so there's a couple of red-headed ones that have popped up that, I don't know, like it's not that last one because she had long hair, it was red, but yeah. Anyway. I'm falling asleep. Oh. Okay. Yeah, I don't remember a lot of the story that we've gone through. But it's good, we're getting through it. I don't know how far we are. There's not a lot of trophies in the game, but we got, what, 2 trophies from talking to 2 of the vampires out of the 4 that we were given the information from Sophie. One has completely disappeared, so we're not going to be able to get that one. But the last one, it's possible, I guess. But yeah, it's so much chocolate. It just... so much chocolate. Yeah. Something. I'm beyond tired. Yes. We'll continue it. Maybe not today. Depends when I'm back. If I come back tonight, we'll continue it. If I come back later this afternoon, I might switch over and we might do some of Jack Black in the what's it called? Brutal Legend. In Brutal Legend. Otherwise, maybe Dragon Age 2. I'll make sure I get that DLC. But if I'm back at night tonight, it'll be this. But yeah, I'll be back today at some point. I'll be back before midnight. I'll be back before the time I start this time. Again, I would have started earlier by like 3 hours, but a couple of things ended up coming up just at the end. So, yeah. Alrighty. Thank you everybody for joining me this morning and for listening to me fall asleep. Ugh. But we got through it barely. But yeah, no, there's not a lot of trophies. So that the main ones were the those 4 vampires that you get the information to meet. And we got 2 of them, the trophies, because we became, you know, not friends, but you know, we're working with each other. So that's something, at least. Yeah. Alrighty. I'm super tired. I'm beyond tired. I'm gonna go to bed. Sun's up. Anyway, thank you everybody, for joining me this morning. Very much appreciated. I'll be back later today sometime, possibly this afternoon, possibly this evening. If it's this afternoon, it'll probably be around like 3-ish. If it's this evening, it'll probably be around about 9 or 10ish this evening, probably. But yes, I'll be back. We'll do more of this, and I'll not fall asleep then while streaming, hopefully. Look forward to seeing you next time. Say hi to your mum for me, and I'll see you then. Bye for now. Hello, Gingerbread Salem. I see you have a banana threatening me. Well, ease up. Ease up. I mean, I find that quite inappropriate, Colourfully Woolly. You know, well, first of all,